Hello, everybody. What the heck is going on? What is going on with OBS, man? Welcome to the show. For some reason, my camera is not showing. Awesome.
That's weird.
That is really awesome. So let me see if I can fix this. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see here. It was working like 2 seconds ago.
Up until the show went live, right?
I figured what was going on. For some odd reason, Skype was showing my... Alright, there we go. There we are. Okay. Oh, let's try that again. Welcome to the show. It's the SavePoint Show. We are Styx Broadcasting. I'm your host, Sid 6.7, always with...
Titchery!
Your Pandora.
And Kaz 143.
And welcome to our show. We've had an interesting week this week. It wasn't... we were usually always together, but, you know, real life happens, and we were kind of scattered this week. It was good to see you guys, Pandora, Kaslin.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
And I always see Titch. But, so what's been going on? Have you guys been able to play any games lately?
I played a little bit of, what was it, MLB 15 yesterday.
Okay.
I really haven't had much time to do anything, even twiddle my thumbs. I mean, I've had a really busy week with baseball and everything, so.
Now, the MLB game, isn't that the one that always has that Grand Slam contest every time a new game comes out?
No, they used to have the, it used to have the one for 2K used to have, if you,
it was the perfect pitch.
Right, it was, if you pitched a perfect game, whoever was the first person to do it would get the $1 million or whatever. They don't have the license anymore. The only game now that's being made that has an MLB license is for the PlayStation, so.
Okay. Pandora, what you been up to, man?
Try to play a little bit of the hardline with you, and trying to get Slim in there and BCK, but it doesn't seem like we can all.
Yeah, our schedules kept on misaligning.
Yeah, played that. Played some Far Cry 4, thanks to you guys. I'm actually enjoying that Far Cry 4. I didn't care for the first 3 very well. I mean, they're decent games, don't get me wrong, but 4, I don't know. I actually like this one. I don't know if it's
3 and 4 are really, really similar, though. I mean, the story is different, but the gameplay is very, very similar. It still says we're hosting.
No, we shouldn't be.
Yeah, he needs to read.
It said, yeah, because in my chat it says exited host mode, so.
Yeah, it's
you may need
refreshing.
To refresh.
I had to refresh BCK. I just had to refresh right now.
Titchery, what you been up to?
I've been playing Sims, of course. I made Joker and Harley Quinn. Pandora, did you see my Harley Quinn?
I did not. I need to see that.
Yeah. Slickerdoodle won one of the followers raffles, and I was creating her, and I ran across a pair of leggings for the Sim, and they were black and gray striped leggings, and I went, oh, Harley Quinn. And I started doing a little bit of research, and I actually found Harley Quinn's outfit as a custom content download. And so I created her, and then I started really looking to find Mr. J, and decided to do both Joker and Harley Quinn. And the first thing that they did once they moved into their house is burned it down. I come back after 10 minutes, and they're standing on the sidewalk going,
Sounds just perfect. Exactly right.
Exactly. And then I've been playing some Pillars of Eternity, which I really like. And I'm weird because I like the big head mode. Been playing Thief on the PS4 for Dark Titch. and a little Alien Isolation. I finished The Order, loved The Order. Yeah, so that's basically what I've been doing.
Cool. What have I been doing? Oh my gosh, I've been
haven't you
playing way
been
too
doing?
much. I've been playing a little. I started up on the Minecraft server again. Started adding some more stuff to the Minecraft server. What else have I been doing? I've been playing that. Been playing a little bit of Hardline, single mode, also multiplayer mode. Played a little bit of Far Cry. Started playing the Wind Waker again. I want to get back into that. Doing some voices for that on the Wind Waker. For the viewing pleasure of the viewers. And got Killing Floor 2. Started playing Killing Floor 2. That's a lot of fun. It's a little disorienting, the way that the screen shakes. So it's kind of throws me off balance there. And what else have I been playing? Oh, I've been playing a game that I put on our indie list that I definitely wanted to show. And this is all thanks to Waffling Brit. A big shout out to Waffling Brit. He's one of our stream team members. He's been playing an indie game called Titan Soul, and I went ahead and bought that too. Man, that is freaking hard. It is. It's like it's an old retro style, 16-bit pixelated game, but it's like what was that PlayStation game? The Colossus. Was it the Rise of the Colossus or Fall of Colossus? Shadow of Colossus, yes. It's exactly like that, where like everything that you fight are like titans. They're big bosses, and you have to unlock each area by defeating a certain amount of these bosses, and everything is a one-hit kill. Most of the bosses are one-hit kills, but you have to figure out exactly where to hit them, and you have like an arrow that you only have one arrow, and you shoot it and you can retrieve it, and you shoot it and retrieve it. So it's really tough, but a lot of fun, really challenging. So that's what I've been doing. Glad to have the crew back. It's weird when we're not kind of talking with each other. I feel like I'm missing part of my family. So
As we are.
yeah. So, and again, speaking of our family is ever expanding. We do have the stream team, and our stream team members consist of Brunhofer, Sleminem, Kiex, and Kim ST90, and Sambird23, the Waffling Brit, and the Real MRV Gaming HD. I want to be a big shout out to you guys. And Retro, hey Retro, how is everything? Cool. Good to see you, man. So yeah, check out our website at www.stixbroadcasting.com. You can find out more information about our stream team and a little bit more information about us, and also some news, upcoming news and stuff like that. So, speaking of news, interesting turn of events. This week, the Strong Museum in Rochester, New York, announced the 15 finalists for the inaugural half of Fame class. Let me. I actually have a picture up here. Make sure we get that up there. So only 5 to 7 of them will be voted. Oops, I don't have that. There we go. Only 5 to 7 of the games will be voted into the international panel of judges, or by the international panel of judges. Other candidates include Doom, The Legend of Zelda, Minecraft, and Tetris. And we do have a complete list here. So the complete list is Angry Birds, Doom, FIFA, the 1993 release of FIFA, The Legend of Zelda, the original Legend of Zelda, Minecraft, Oregon's Trail, Pac-Man, Pokemon, Pong, which I was kind of weird that they're not already in the Hall of Fame. The Sims, Sonic the Hedgehog, Space Invaders, Super Mario Brothers, Tetris, World of Warcraft. So all of those are the finalists, and they will be voted. 5 to 7 of them will be voted into the Hall of Fame. Whether it is the groundbreaking game Pong or more recent viral sensation like Minecraft, all of these games have helped shape the way that people across the globe play and relate to one another. John Paul Dyson, director of the Strong International Center of the History of Electronic Games said in a statement. The winners will get an extra life as part of a permanent exhibition at the Strong, which houses an extensive Barbie collection, pinball machines going back from the 1930s, and a large archive of early sketches and notes connected to everything from Atari games to Dungeons and Dragons. The entrance to the World Video Game Hall of Fame will be announced in early June. About the World Video Game Hall of Fame. The World Video Game Hall of Fame at the Strong recognizes individual electronic games of all types, arcade, console, computer, handheld, and mobile, that have enjoyed popularity over a sustained period and have exerted influence on the video game industry on popular culture and society in general. So that should be really interesting to see which one actually makes it into the Hall of Fame. I'm kind of rooting for Zelda. I'm a big Zelda fan. I mean, they've been around for a long time as well. You know, I think Pong deserves to be in there.
I think Pong deserves to be in there. I also think Sims deserves to be in there. And that's not just
fortunately, it's not one of the finalists.
Yeah.
I don't think Angry Birds really. It's popular, but in my opinion, I don't think it should go in there.
Personally, I don't think any game that started as an app should go in there.
What do you have against Angry Birds, huh?
I think it's up there with Candy Crush. It's just an addictive game.
It's still a game.
I'm not arguing that point, but I mean, up against things like Pac-Man that helped revolutionize. I don't think Angry Birds actually revolutionized anything. I mean, they may have helped a little bit, but of course, this is all my opinion. I don't know if they have revolutionized anything. The Sims is.
What was it?
The original Sims.
What'd you say it was? It was your what?
It's my opinion.
Good.
Yeah, I didn't say it was fact.
All right. No, I know you did. I'm just making sure that the audience heard that it was your opinion.
Like I said, I don't think with all these other greats like Tetris, Mario Brothers, Space Invaders, Pong, Pac-Man, Tetris. Those really helped shaped the games that we have today. I mean, Angry Birds was an app. Yes, I guess it helped with app games.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I don't think it really revolutionized anything. But that's, again, like I said, it's my opinion. All right. Well, we do
it's
have...
one of those lists.
What's that, Pandora?
Am I breaking
Back
up?
up a little bit.
A little
Yeah,
bit.
you're breaking up.
That better? Any better?
A little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's getting
A little bit. Yeah, it's gonna be one of these nights, ain't it, boys and girls?
That's okay, man. All right. So, were you going to try again, or?
Yeah, I mean,
because I do want to know what you said.
Is it clear? Am I good? Still breaking up?
It's a little broken up, but I think we can understand you.
All about the list is anytime you have, you're going to have people that are going to like certain games and people that aren't going to like certain games, and then there are going to be people that are going to say, well, those games have been on there, these games should have been on there. But again, you really want to think about the games that really had the biggest impact to gamers and the gaming industry. And really that's what a Hall of Fame game or any type of Hall of Fame anything should be is the things that make the most dynamic impact in that, either in a genre or in an event. So I mean, lists are always, it's anything. If we top 10 games of all time, somebody else would come along and say that we're stupid or past list,
Well, yeah, and I just, like I said, I just don't see it for Angry Birds. That just for me, I just don't see it. But of course, something sparked an interest in the judges to have Angry Birds in the finalists. So
Do you
there's
think
something there.
Do you think maybe Angry Birds was a contender in the sense that it really put tablets and mobile devices on the map? Maybe. I don't know. I don't get it either, but I'm thinking of all of the I can think about. One of the biggest games that I can remember on a tablet and a mobile device was Angry Birds. So maybe that's why it got the nod, because it really did kind of put tablet and mobile device type gaming on the map. I think probably more than most games. I don't know that that's the logic, but maybe that's the logic.
Probably is.
I think it is because since Angry Birds has come out and been a big factor in the mobile scene, whether all phones. Now phones are a big staple where people play games. You're on the subway. You live in New York. You're on the subway going to work. You're usually on your phone playing something. You're in a plane. You're in a cab. People playing. Waiting in the doctor's office. They're playing something. And lately, some of these games have been making $1 million a day in profit. I mean, it's ridiculous how much money they're making. So Angry Birds, and I think Angry Birds is the one who started it all. I mean, all the merchandise that Angry Birds have sold.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is. It's really crazy if you think about it. So maybe that was why they decided to add this game in part of the Hall of Fame. I mean, like World of Warcraft. I don't consider World of Warcraft a game changer. What I thought it was, and what I recognize it for, is it brought more people into the genre. So that's why you could say, it is what it is. And I know EverQuest is already in the Hall of Fame, so I can't complain about it,
And I do believe, World of Warcraft, yeah, I don't care for it, but I do care for the vanilla of World of Warcraft. I played that for a long time, and I don't think it revolutionized the gaming world as much as it brought more people into the genre, just like you said. I think it did make more people aware of MMO games. World of Warcraft was, I think, the result of that, and more people, once they understood about MMO games, more people sought out different ones after that. So I think that did help that genre of gaming. So I think you're absolutely right. All right. So in other news, I think Titch, you have some tips for us for The Sims?
Yes, I do. Let me just bring that up so I can read them to you. So I'm going to cover the doctor's career today. Basically, if you can load up the image number 1, I know you were having issues. They didn't save like they should have. So let me
man.
Just the image with the doctor and his phone. The doctor career is the one of the 3 active careers in the Sims 4 Get to Work expansion pack, where you can follow your sim to work, and your doctor sim will work at a hospital, but they'll also make house calls. And you can start as a medical intern, but you can climb your way up to become the chief of staff by leveling your doctor career up. You'll also unlock different clothing and even a trait. If you get to level 8, you'll get the sickness resistance. What will you do as a doctor? Flirt with your coworkers, deliver babies, or diagnose patients? You'll do it all, actually. Inside the hospital is only accessible when you need to go to work at the hospital. So join your sim at their workday and manage your sims at home. You can do that by just saying send them alone. You can stay at home with your other sims. If you join them, you'll be transported to the hospital. When working at the hospital, you can find rooms for patients, analyzing, performing surgery, You'll actually do medical exams, so you'll be able to swab the inside of their cheek and then analyze that sample. You'll be able to log that into the computer system, and that'll help the doctor to actually diagnose the sim, and then you can actually go on and treat it. This is basically a part of the game that's more like a time management. So you improve your career performance. You start your work day by being happy, or better, by being focused. If you want your sim to be more focused, get the tea maker and make pitch black tea and have your sim drink it. Coffee will not create that focused moodlet. It'll only create a energized moodlet. So going to work with a positive emotion, focused, completing the daily tasks, maintaining high relationships with coworkers, learn and level up the logic skill to get better results if you're analyzing samples at the chemical analyzer or the x-ray machine. Learn and level up the handiness skill in case an equipment breaks down. You can also use it to upgrade the chemical analyzer or the x-ray machine for better results. If you can load up image number 2, you start your day in the hospital. First, you will need to diagnose your patient that came into the hospital, and there will be a line of patients. Just pick one, take it to the exam table, and then you can go ahead and start examining the patient. You can use the x-ray machine to run extra tests, or you can bring the patient to the treadmill to diagnose them. There is one tip: stick with one patient while you're completing the tasks of your career goals. Instead of trying to get all the patients from the front desk to their bed and test them, you'll just get way overwhelmed. Diagnose your patient from visible symptoms. Sims will show visible signs of their illnesses. This makes it easier for you to diagnose a patient. The list below will help you diagnose them. So, if you could load up image number 3, it's the little girl on the table, or with her hand up to her forehead. That'll show you some symptoms that will be shown. Symptoms that you can see are releasing steam from the ears, or signs of a headache will be the bloaty head. You treat the bloaty head with a shot. Also, you'll notice that when you have a patient that's ready to be treated, they will have a red heart above their head that will pulse. It's beating. That means that they've been diagnosed and they're ready to be treated. You will click on that patient and you'll have various things that you can treat. Gas and giggles is diagnosed by showing signs of they'll rub their tummy, a thought bubble with food and a thermometer, giggling, tiger stripes on their skin, and they will actually pass gas. That is prescribed medication for gas and giggles to treat that. If your sim has orange and green spots, is sneezing and coughing, they have the llama flu. Give them a llama flu vaccination. Stars spinning over their head, whirly spots, they actually look like an orange swirl. Dizzy, that's starry eyes, and you will need to treat them with starry eye medicine. Their head will occasionally release steam, orange and green spots, itchy, a thought bubble with a thermometer, that's sweaty shivers. Inoculate for sweaty shivers. That's right, they have to get a shot. Orange and green spots, itchy, giggly, tiger stripes, they have an itchy plumb bob. This is treated with surgery. Surgery is a whole new ball of wax there. When you're doing surgery, you can actually accidentally remove vital organs, but the robot will put it back and then they'll be fine. Head will occasionally release steam. They're rubbing their tummy and a thought bubble with a bottle of Pepto-Bismol. That's burning belly, and that requires surgery as well. The last one that requires surgery is stars spinning over their head, whirly spots, orange and green spots, sneezing, itchy, dizzy. That is the triple threat. Get your sim to surgery soon. After you diagnosed your patient, they will need treatment to cure the disease, as I said, and the patients are ready when they have the red heart. Delivering babies at the hospital can be done by your doctor sim when they reach level 8, and when pregnant sims come into the hospital and is going into labor, you will have to bring them immediately to the surgery table to deliver the baby. When your sim is level 6 in the doctor career, you can determine the sex of the baby before a pregnant sim is going into labor. This will also work with male sims who have been abducted and impregnated. Image number 4 will show the sim making a house call. In your career as a doctor, you will sometimes get an urgent notification that you need to make a house call. Making house calls is not a top priority. If you want to, you can skip it. You won't be penalized. If you wait too long to do the house call, it will vanish, but it won't affect your work performance at all. If you're accepting the house call, just click on the front desk, the counter, and not the computer to travel to the right location. When you arrive on location, you'll get the main goal assigned. It'll be just like when you're at the hospital. Basically, time management again. When you're done, click on your sim to go back to the hospital. And image number 5 shows the doctor taking a thermometer and diagnosing the patient. When your sim's reaching a higher level in the doctor career, you'll be able to unlock career rewards such as diplomas, an eye chart, a sim skeleton, which is really kind of cool. Sim doctors can also unlock new interactions, give medical advice, or give bad medical advice if you want to be mischievous. New romantic interaction, check for fever, can determine a pregnant sim is going to have a boy or a girl. I can talk, really I can. Just not today. So the first position is orderly, and that will remain until level 2. Level 3, you become a medical assistant. And the next one on level 4, medical technologist. Assistant nurse is level 5. RN is level 6. Doctor, general practitioner, level 7. Medical specialist, level 8. Surgeon, level 9. And chief of staff is level 10. And like I said, at level 8, you will get resilient immunity, sickness resistance. Sims have a lower chance of getting sick and will recover from sickness faster. The sickness resistant trait is obtained by reaching level 8 in the doctor career. And that's it. That's all the advice I can give you for doctor career. We will be playing that somewhat on my Sim stream. But until then, guys, happy simming.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that. That was cool. So I believe you have one more career to cover?
Actually, there are 2 more.
Two more?
I really haven't done much with the scientist. And then I need to do the detective. So next week, I think I'll focus on the detective.
So far, out of the ones that you've been doing, like, what have been your favorite career so far?
So far, I've enjoyed the scientist, the mad scientist aspect where you get to go to Sixum. And I did actually get to go to Sixum. But the problem is once you get to Sixum, I thought maybe you might be able to find the pollinating sims, the aliens that pollinate the males when they abduct them. But you can't do that, and it's actually very small area that the alien, planet is. You can gather collectibles there. You can gather different plants and bring them back and analyze them and grow them, and it does finish a lot of the achievements for the new expansion pack.
Cool. Well, again, thank you for that. Let's see. Wow, we are moving right along on time here today. Pandora, what have you for your Pandora's box today?
Well,
I can formulate sentences.
Yes, can you form a full sentence?
It's a rough week.
It has been a rough week. Just make sure I do an audio check. Am I coming through okay?
Yes.
You're doing just perfect.
All right. One of the things I want to talk about today, and again, of course, this is involving everyone in the panel, you three as well as the chat, is this mean behavior that we're experiencing in gaming, and how it's affecting us. And I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about like, the trash talking, like when we're gaming and, you kind of get used to a little bit of the trash talking because it's kind of competitive and it's done in good nature, out of sport and fun. What I'm talking about is this mean-spirited stuff. You know what I'm talking about, guys. The stuff where people join your game and then they go AFK and just don't help out the team. Just if you if they don't like what you're doing and they have you swatted, the whole swatting thing now, or they're calling and having, SWAT members show up at your house, and just this god-awful stuff that's going on inside the gaming community, which I never would have dreamed would happen. And just how is that affecting us as gamers and our trust level with gaming in particular, especially online gaming now, because this is where a lot of this tends to be happening. I don't know how you guys are feeling about this, but that incident with that little boy. Remember we covered the story about the little boy who got his stuff deleted because of trust on Destiny. Little things like this. I mean, how do you guys see this impacting you in the future? Do you kind of think that maybe through this guy's experience, this kid's experience, that maybe you're a little less likely to play with strangers? Do you think it's not affecting you at all? How do you feel about this whole, I don't know, this just being mean for no apparent reason other than to be mean? Again, I'm not talking about the trash talking. The trash talking is just trash talking. There's a difference. I think we all know the difference between just trash talking and cutting jokes, your mama jokes, or you got no skill, or the old traditional trash talking between two competitors. What I'm talking about is this stuff that's just not necessary. I understand that when you're on the internet, you're going to attract trolls, you're going to attract meanness. I get that. But, if I don't want to read this crap, it's like one of those things. I can control Facebook because I can simply just not get on there. If I don't want to read everybody's garbage and harassment or threatening messages on Twitter, I don't have to get on Twitter. If I don't want to read a lot of things on the news or in gaming communities forums, I just don't go there. But what bothers me is when you log on to your game, it's your gaming system, I don't think that's the place for this. We create these worlds, right, guys? I mean, we are the gaming community. We are the people that, that are putting the characters and filling up these worlds that we want to go to. For example, are the worlds in Destiny, the worlds in WoW, any multiplayer online game. Gamers are what makes these games, the world they are. And that's the one place, guys, that I really don't want to have to deal with that stuff. And now that it's starting to creep into this world, which to me are the worlds that I want to use to get away from that stuff in the first place, it's almost deterring to me. It almost makes me not want to play online. And when I do play online, it's only with a select few people that I can trust. So, again, I'm putting that out to you guys. Has it impacted you in any way? Have you ever had to deal with it? And if so, is it kind of causing you to not maybe want to play some games online as much as you did before, or how has it impacted you? And so I'm going to turn it loose and let you guys talk, and then of course I'll come back around afterwards and see what you guys are thinking.
Kaz or Titch? I have my say. I'll go last.
Well, why don't we let Kazlin go, because he looks like he's ready to burst.
Yes, he is ready. I see.
This whole swatting thing gets on my nerves because of waste these officers of the law. I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice guy. I have other words for him. It basically wastes their time. And technically it's against the law. I know why they're doing it because they're trying to get ahead. So if they see somebody else being a threat, that's what they do. Now there's other things that I can't hear myself. This echo.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of
Yeah.
echo. I think it's
Yeah,
gone
it's
now.
gone. Now there's other ways like going AFK in a game, and that drives me insane. Now, if you don't have the 45 minutes or the hour to play, don't start the goddamn match. Don't jump in a lobby and be there for the whole. Then I gotta go, and just go AFK and not finish the match. I'm sorry. If I was working and I was working in the morning and I logged on at 6 o'clock in the morning to get a quick match in a League of Legends and I had to be at 7 o'clock, guess what? I wouldn't be logging on. There's no freaking way I would make it to work in time. Not gonna happen. And I choose not to play some games like a League of Legends as much as I used to anymore because of it deters me where I'm trying to bust my rear end to get out of where I am and go up higher, and I can't do it all the time because I get idiots in the room all the time. Oh, I'm just going to go AFK. The top lane and the bottom lane are fighting over who's feeding more, and instead of worrying about your own goddamn self and doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're too worried about what everybody else is doing. So it causes fights within the game, and it causes distraction between the rest of the teammate, where we're all trying to achieve the same goal, to win. It's either work together and win, or keep doing what you're doing and being idiots, and you're gonna keep everybody else down. Now, I get so aggravated and frustrated at, again, a League of Legends because of this happens all the time, and it just doesn't happen to me. It happens to so many of the community, and I hate to say it is because there is a lot of age difference in the things, So kid logs on, he's not supposed to be on the computer or whatever at that time. He's trying to sneak in while his mom's in the other room. He's supposed to be sleeping, but he's actually playing the game. Stuff like that happens all the time. But again, it really screws up your teammates. And I was watching a video the other day of a 14-year-old kid playing Minecraft, and then you have these idiots who are on, I don't know if it was Skype or something else, and they're calling the pizza place where he lives and ordering 6 large pizzas with all this stuff on it. They calling prostitutes in his area and sending them to his house. Just because they think it's a funny thing to do. This kid could get into serious trouble, not to mention he can get hurt. If they send, somebody from your house, the pimp of the prostitute comes over with them and threatens the kid and beats the kid up because he's wasting his girl's time. I wish people would stop and think of the consequences before they do things. Because we saw it, what was it, a couple months ago, almost 6 months ago, the 15-year-old kid called SWAT, and he got somebody else swatted, and now he's serving, 15 years in life? 15 years in prison because of it? A 15-year-old kid. So, stop and think before you do some of this stuff. You might think it's funny and get a laugh out of it, but think of that 15-year-old kid he's going away for, 5 to 10, 15 years. I don't know exactly how many years he's going away. I know it's a lot, though, because they use it as a terrorist action. He got hit with a terrorist action, and he's 15 years old. So, people really need to think before they do this stuff, because it really does affect everybody else. And Pandora's right. It never happened before. This is all a new age of... We never had to deal with this. If I was the number 5 player in the world and in Unreal Tournament, guess what? I was the number 5 player in the world. There's nothing you can do. The only way you can do it, or just deter me from doing it, is by beating me. Right. And it's not like that anymore. It's just, I'm gonna get it upper hand. Haha, I'm gonna do this and that, and I don't agree with it at all. And I find it really disgusting in how this stuff has been happening lately.
Titch?
Well, I know that, with my experiences with MMOs, getting hacked was always a concern. Somebody comes by and sees your gear. If you have great gear, they may target your account. And they're not only going to take your stuff, but then they can also get into some personal stuff that you have attached to that account. So you really have to be careful. This is another reason why I don't, like Pandora says, you game online with very select few. I have a hard time accepting friend requests from people on PS4 that I don't know. And, it's nothing personal with you guys. If you guys did send me an invite, it's nothing personal with you guys. It's just my past experience has found that I protect my online identity with, passion and a heavy hand sometimes. But sometimes it's necessary, because in order for me to protect myself, my family, I'm not going to let those information out. A lot of people, they want to know more about you when you're online, but to be perfectly honest, I don't want to share all my personal information. That's my personal information. And it's not, it's not out there for everybody. And it is a frightening aspect when you think about people who, are getting swatted and, hacked, their bank accounts hacked. I barely feel comfortable giving my credit card over to the local restaurant to bring me food. I've been burned on that, so why would I share it with people who may be doing more, hurtful things, not just, to my feelings, but damaging to my identity. My online, information is out there, and that's a scary aspect. So yeah, I am protective over it.
Well, Titch, I want to address something. I'm not cutting you off, Sid, but because Titch is is a female gamer, and we have several females in the stream, in the chat room right now. This is another point that I want to bring up. This brings up another interesting aspect of gaming as well for girl gamers, because girl gamers, people are not just being mean to these girls. They're threatening them with rape. They're threatening to break into their homes. They're threatening to kill them. Where did this become part of our community?
Yeah.
And why is this acceptable? And why? This is scary stuff, guys. This is not a joke. This is not, me telling Kaz, hey, man, you ain't got no skills, man. I got the skills to pay the bills, bro. I'm going to headhunt you all day long. I'm going to kill you, bro. Your sniping skills can't match mine. You're second rate. That's trash talking. But we're not talking about this stuff anymore. We're talking about, hey, I'm going to come over. If you don't do this, I'm going to come over and I'm going to kill you and your family, and I'm going to get your information. We're talking it has gone from trash talking to threatening. And I mean just absolutely horrible threats when it comes to the girl gamers. And I didn't mean to cut you off, Sid, but I wanted to speak a little bit about my topic in particular. How is it for girls? How is it for the girl gamers to try to go online? And I'll give you an example. I have friends of mine that are, girl gamers that played with guys for months and thought that they were cool with these guys. And then these guys just randomly start sexually harassing them out of the clear blue, haven't harassed them a bit for 6-7 months, and they think that they're a tight group, and all of a sudden it turns on them one day, And now all of a sudden, these friends of mine that are girl gamers are now so uncomfortable with these guys that they've been playing these games with for months that they don't even want to log on anymore. And so for me to even try to get to play with some of these friends of mine, I'm literally almost having to beg them to go against their better judgment, because they don't want to get online and play anymore. And they're scared to. And that's, I think, where we're at today. It's getting really serious, I think.
It is. And,
and that's kind of what I wanted to speak about on the girls aspect. What's it like for you, Titch, and what's it like for these other girl gamers? Because we don't have to deal with that as much, guys, with the whole, sexual harassment thing and the rape issues and things like that. That's more geared towards you lady gamers than it is us. But I did want to kind of see how that impacts you,
Yeah. It does impact you. It does make you to where you want to hide behind that avatar and not let people know that you're a girl. It is, one reason I don't play on my PS4 with my camera. I don't necessarily want people to know what I look like. It took a long time for me to want to play online on Twitch with my camera.
Right.
Not because I think that I'm going to be hit on, not because I think that I'm going to be, insulted. You can insult me for days. I've been insulted. I've been called much worse names than anybody can think of in my families. I simply don't want necessarily sometimes for people to know that I'm a woman. If you look at the past, people have been, harassed, sexually harassed. There was a story when online gaming first started, and this sticks in my head. A guy started stalking a woman who was playing online games. He actually came to her house with a chainsaw and barreled into her house, took her outside, and was threatening her with the chainsaw. Now, if you don't think that that's a terrifying image, imagine how you would feel, if this is an image that sticks with you. And this has been years and years ago. Now people think that it's okay. When was it ever acceptable that you talk to a person, male or female, with the insulting name calling and threats that you do? Just because you're on the internet doesn't mean that your manners should go to the side. You would never speak to a girl that way in public. And why does it, what makes you think that you have the right to do it online? You don't. We're humans. Start acting like it.
It's because everybody's got EP.
Think about how you would feel if your girlfriend, your mother, your grandmother, your sister, your daughter had to deal with something like that. How would that make you feel? And I can guarantee you, you would not feel good about it. So yeah, it's unacceptable, and it needs to stop. We, us girl gamers, we have every right to be playing games with you guys, and we have every right to be respected for it. So.
Sid?
To address the issue, I think there's several factors that go into this, and this is what I think is happening. One, they're behind a controller, they're behind a screen, they're behind the internet. They have a certain anonymity that they feel more comfortable, more bold, and I think from the male aspect of just the regular human race, our patterns is we crave, not all of us, but deep down there is that craving of domination, control, power, and some people take it too far. So most of us have a filter. We know what's right and wrong. We understand what's right and wrong. We've been taught what is right and wrong. These other people who do these things, there's something malfunctioning in their brain that does not allow them to have that filter. They think because they're on the internet that no one can see them, they can get away with murder. I mean, theoretically. And this also goes down to, I hate to say it, but our society putting way too much PC correctness on how to raise, basically our government telling us how to raise our children. We can't discipline our kids, you know, as we used to be disciplined back in our days. Now it's considered, you know, child abuse. I mean, and there's a fine line between what is child abuse. There's a fine line what the government defines what child abuse is and what discipline is. And I think parents, young parents, are afraid of that, and they let, you know, the new generation pretty much get away with anything. So there is that aspect, because I mean, there are all ranges of gamers. Yes, there are a range of gamers, but a majority of them are young kids now. From what I've been seeing. I mean, every time you go on a Call of Duty, it's like kids that, you know, they're like, what, 12 and below, or even 14 or below, or, you know, they're pretty young, especially when you hear them. And I think it's that aspect where they, you know, are not supervised. They're not having that aspect of fear being put into their life from discipline. I mean, when I was growing up and I did something remotely that I thought was remotely wrong, there was that fear factor, is like, oh crap, I'm gonna be punished. I shouldn't do this because I don't want this outcome. That's been ingrained into my head. These new generation these days, the parents don't do that. They you know, we don't want to hit our children. We don't want to deal with it that way. And so the newer generations are having this new boldness. They're able to throw the stick into the electric fence and notice that the electric fence is not working. There's that link in that kink in the fence there. So they're going online, knowing that no one can see them, theoretically, behind behind an avatar, and they have no recollection of what is proper. So they think, and they do, basically make these threats, and they don't think about, and it goes back to what Kaz is saying. Why don't these people think? Why aren't they just stopping and thinking? It's because it's not ingrained in their head to be able to think of that, of what the consequences may be. They think they can get away with it. There's no notion of what the consequence would be. And I think that, you know, it was right for whatever jury what was that prosecuted the first kid that got, you know, that did the swatting. I think it was a very appropriate threat, and I think from what I remember reading is that the judge was saying that we need to do a harsh sentence for this one, so to discourage people from doing this ever again. So 15 years was what he thought was right for this, and you know, it hasn't stopped fully, but I think it did get the message out once that hit the news. Oh my gosh, there is a repercussion. I can go away for jail for 15 years of my life if I do this. Now, it doesn't sink into everybody,
right,
but it's still out there. So I mean, it's that reinforcement that we need to continue to drive into people, into their heads, to think basically get them thinking about what are the consequences. And I think that's the main problem that we have today, is that not many people they have that little message in their head, is like, oh no, if I do this, these are going to be the consequences. I think that's the majority of the problem.
Yeah, I agree with what you guys are saying, and a lot of the comments in the, you know, T-Ski and some of the others in the chat room there. How do you guys see our roles in this? I mean, you know, do you guys feel a sense of obligation a sense of some sort of responsibility to step up to the plate in these issues, because I certainly do. That's why I'm bringing it up. I know it's a touchy subject, and it seems like we kind of upset somebody, and maybe they left. But, you know, I'm not the type to walk away from issues and turn my back on them and walk away and think that that's going to fix anything. I'm also the type of the mindset that, and this gets me into a lot of heated debates with a lot of people that I know, but you don't want the war front at your doorstep. So, you know, all these people are always saying, you know, if it's not affecting me directly, then I don't want to get involved. But I think we do need to get involved. I think we need to start pushing these people out of this acceptance of you know, this, you know, swatting and thinking it's funny. You know, what really troubles me is the ones that are doing it. That's one thing. You know, they've got their own set of issues. But what really troubles me is the people that aren't doing it that thinks it's funny. They're the ones that are allowing this type of behavior to continue. They're the ones that are kind of encourage that type of behavior in the first place, because they're laughing about it and they think it's funny. They think it's just, oh, you guys are just.
It didn't happen to them.
Yeah, it didn't happen to them. Oh, you guys are just overreacting. It's just a joke. Get over it. Quit your whining. You know, again, like I was saying, I would much rather fight the war over there, across the ocean, than I would to be fighting it on our own soil. You get what I'm saying, right?
Yep.
You don't ever want the fight on your ground, because if you do, your family and your friends are going to be the victims. And that is why I am a firm believer in keeping as much of that as far away from me and as far away from all of us as we possibly can. So you got to cut it off as far away from you. You got to meet it as far away as you can head on. You don't just sit back and wait until it does affect you. That's being, you know, that's a part of this problem. We need to start, you know, people that are being victimized by this need to speak out. People that are witness to this need to assist in some ways. And that's kind of what I'm getting at. Do you guys, you know, do you kind of see what I'm saying a little bit here about this? Do you think that it's not our responsibility, that we don't sort of have a duty and an obligation to each other to look out for one another, especially in this community? Because we're either going to rise as a community or we're going to fall as a community. And I honestly think that we need to rise to this. I think that this scurrying away and not wanting to talk about it, or just blowing it off that it's just a stupid joke or whatever, people are going to prison over it. People are being victimized in ways over it. People have been you know, shot and killed over it because cops have been called out to people's houses and they're holding Wii U remotes in their hands, or Wii remotes in their hands, and getting shot and killed over it. It's not a joke anymore. It's not trash talking, and people are being gamers are being victimized by this. I don't know what this is. I don't even know what to call this. This level of cyberbullying, whatever you want to call it. But like I said, I can deal with it on my other social aspects because I just don't have to look at it. But when it starts to creep into my gaming worlds, that's not cool, man. Because I want to be able to play my games. You know, I want to be able to get online and play with you guys. But now that now that this stuff is becoming a reality and it's creeping over into our games, that's sad.
Yeah.
And go back what Titch was saying a little bit earlier about, you know, when she was playing MMOs, whatever. I felt that more in World of Warcraft than I ever did in EverQuest, where when you heard of somebody getting hacked in EverQuest, it was so few and far between. It was really rare to see that.
Right.
I think since gaming has become almost like a mainstream media now. It's become so big that it's changed the way it is. And the community, and you're saying, you feel a sense of obligation to try to stick with each other and help each other. And I feel that as well. But when you sit there and say, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, it falls on deaf ears now. Because of people just don't care what anybody else has to say. They're going to do what they want, and damn what you have to say about it. They don't really care what you're saying. It's basically, it's going in one ear and going out the other. And like you said, people have died, and, oh, well, that's not me, I'm not that stupid, and, well, what about the guy's father who got shot and killed when his son got swatted because they kicked down the door and he thought he was being robbed. And he went and got his gun and pointed it at, and they killed him for it. They shot and killed him for it. And to me, that's not okay. I mean, that's not okay at all. And these people are laughing about it. Oh, well, this kid that's 15 years old, he's got 15 to 25 years in prison. Well, that ain't me. And ha, 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 I'm a minor. They can't do that to me. Yes, they can. The new laws, if you're found with it being a terrorist act, which swatting can be called a terrorist act. No matter if you're 9 years old, no matter if you're 8 years old, they can send you to prison, and real prison, not juvenile detention hall. They can send you to prison, and it's not funny. It's not a funny thing. It's not cool to see happen. It's not something that people should be laughing about. But again, like I said, it just, the community is so negative, and all they care about is themselves. They can care less about anybody else, and that's, I'm sorry, it's the way gaming is being made now is what's causing all this ruckus. Where I'm an MMO player, okay? I was always forced to group with people, so we always had that community. We always had that rock where we could lean on each other, and and of course you always had that one jackass who just was a jackass. But when he was a jackass, his name became quickly everybody on everybody else's lips, knowing, hey, don't group with this guy. What would happen would be, he would either have to remake his character or just jump onto another server at all, because his name was so tainted that he couldn't group with anybody anymore. And now it's just, what the hell do I care about Sid for? I don't care if you've been working 65 hours trying to get this legendary drop in Destiny. The hell, I'm going to get it before you, because, I can care less about what you do. I'm going to kick you out of the group so you don't get anything for the drops. It's so I get a better chance of getting drops. It's so stupid, and how these people think. It's all about themselves, and it drives me nuts. Like I said, if you only got 45 minutes before you have to do something, go to bed, or you absolutely have to leave the computer in 45 minutes. Why jump into a League of Legends match? Yeah, sometimes you can get lucky and they'll last 20 minutes. Sometimes you're not lucky and they last an hour and a half. It's just what it is. It's give and take. So why even bother even attempting to try? And then you're going to ruin it for all the other 4 people, or technically, I mean, even the other team you kind of ruin it for, because they're not getting the fight that they should be getting. I mean, yeah, they'll end up winning because it's 5-on-4 majority of the cases. So and you'll see it sometimes where they'll say, sorry about your AFK, and they're really genuinely nice about it. But it shouldn't happen. It really shouldn't happen. None of the swatting should happen. None of this calling, pizza places racking up $165 bill, and they go to deliver it to the house, and the guy's like, what the hell are you talking about? It's not cool. Calling strippers or, prostitutes and sending them to people's houses, threatening, women with rape and bodily harm. And then you'll have this whole other subject where you have the pedophiles going after these young kids. They're trying to get these young kids information and going to the house and trying to take them and do what they do to children too. It's such a touchy subject on every way you look at it, but it all combines into that one. It's under one topic. It really is, because it's the same. No matter what side of the fence you're on, what side of the street you're on, everybody has the same issues. Whether it be League of Legends, people going AFK in the middle of the game, people threatening Titch with bodily harm, or going to break a dog down and try to rape or do something to hurt her, or call SWAT on you, Pandora, and watch you get arrested because they think you're a terrorist and you're hurting somebody in the house, or going after Sid. It needs to stop, but it's not going to unless people can actually think before they do these things. And I'm sorry, with society today, I don't see it stopping for any time soon.
One thing that I think that we need to also do is take responsibility for our own gaming. If you're in a group that is not respecting you, remove yourself from it. Prime example, it happened to me not that long ago, and I was not being shown the respect that I think that I deserve. And I was playing a game, I was having fun, but this situation came up where certain things were being said, and I asked them to stop. They did not. So I removed myself from the situation. I simply stopped gaming with them and went and I played by myself. And yeah, that's not going to solve the issue, but I have enough respect and self-worth that I don't need to be around those people. I don't need to stay there. And I can be by myself just fine.
But it altered your gaming. It
did alter my gaming.
It changed your level of trust. Mm-hmm. It changed your approach to gaming with friends. Yeah. And that's what I'm getting at. This is affecting people. Mm-hmm. In some ways, very grotesque ways. When we all first formed Sticks, you guys remember me telling you about a 13-year-old little girl in my community that took her own life because she was being bullied playing video games online. And she finally, I guess, I don't know, that's a deep, dark place for you to have to be to do something like that. But just think about that. For a 13-year-old girl, 13 now, this is a very young girl, to think that choice was better than to deal with her getting on and playing her games, that's pretty tragic. And that's a really dark, deep area in this community. I mean, it's not just this community. I mean, that happens outside this community as well. But it's bad when it starts to creep into our video games, and that's what I'm getting at. This is about video gaming in particular. And when these types of things start to creep into our gaming worlds, into our gaming communities, what are we going to do? I mean, we can't, as gamers, we cannot continue to ignore this. It's not going to go away. Ignoring problems never fixes problems, nor does it solve problems. I'm the type of person that when you come to the table not with questions, but you come to the table with solutions. And I think that the questions are already in place. Why is it going on? What is people doing about it? All those questions are out there. People are being hurt. But really, I think we should be talking about solutions, and maybe that's a future conversation for a Pandora's Box or a Kaz's Corner or Titch's, whatever. But I think as a Sticks Broadcasting Group, I think we should probably pursue that at a later time. You know, solutions. What can be done? What can we do? And how can we take those steps to stop this type of thing, or at least start to deter some of it? You know, if something that we do, I guess what I'm getting at is if somebody had taken the time to talk to that 13-year-old girl and tell her it's really not that bad, she might still be here today.
Yeah.
But no one did. And she's not. And I think that part of that problem is this attitude of accepting these as jokes, accepting this type of behavior as, well, people are just going to do what they're going to do. Well, they're doing what they're doing because we're allowing them to do it. And I am a firm believer that this type of behavior that goes on even outside of gaming into our society is our problem because we allow it to happen and no one wants to do anything about it. I'm going to tell you what, I'm the type of guy that if I'm going down the street and I see a man slap a woman, I'm going to slap him. I get involved. And I might get a beat down. I might. But I'm still going to get involved because I cannot allow that to happen in front of me. I'm not going to. I think you guys know me well enough to know that that's the type of stuff I just do not accept, and I'm not going to accept it. And I'm wondering how, as a gaming community, what can we do? What can we do? Do we even have any type of power to do something about it? I think we do, but I think we're going to have to organize, and I think we're going to have to come to table and as a community, and I mean an entire gaming community, and I really think that everybody is going to have to address this issue because this is going to get worse before it gets better. And the only way it's going to get better is to do things like what we're doing tonight. And I think I want to thank all of y'all for talking about it because this is a touchy subject, but I think this is the first steps toward trying to do something about it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys
Absolutely.
feel about that, but I think we've kind of taken a few steps here. So
Yeah, it's good to bring it up front and not just be behind the curtain, being those people who just don't think it's going to happen. It's good to talk about it.
Well, and
Yep.
we need to address it. We need to talk about it. We need to bring it out into the light because nothing survives in the darkness. If you bring it to light and start addressing it and saying, we're not going to let this happen to us anymore, it will begin to stop.
Okay. Well, and like all of our topics, we can go on and on and on about this. But
yeah,
'cause,
thank you
I mean,
guys. I want to thank you guys and the chat room for
it,
bearing with it because it is touchy.
and I say this every single time we have a discussion, and it's good that we have these topics these are topics that people can talk about and just keep talking about it. But I mean, unfortunately, we don't have all this time to be able to just continually talk about it. But I mean, I do appreciate bringing these. You guys always have these awesome subjects, these debates and talks. I can never think these up. So appreciate it. Thank you very much. Let's see. It has been a couple of rough weeks for Silent Hills fans.
Yes, it has.
As they have watched Konami and Hideo Kajima slowly uncouple from any and all projects. At the moment, Kojima's name was removed from Konami's products. Most of the focus was on the Metal Gear Solid 5 and how that imminent game would be impacted by the separation. However, many also kept Silent Hills in the back of their minds, wondering whether the exciting Kajima/Del Toro collaboration might be canceled. It took a little longer for fans to get their answer, and unfortunately it wasn't a good one. Silent Hills is canceled officially, and whatever effort Kojima and Guillermo del Toro contributed to the game is likely lost forever. Before Konami's statement, news of Silent Hill's rumored cancellation spread in such a way that fans didn't know how to process the information. First, Del Toro made a claim that the project was canceled, but some interpreted this quote as him sharing disappointment over Kojima's removal, not the game actually being axed. Then actor Norman Reedus echoed Del Toro's sentiments, but it seemed he didn't have any more information than Del Toro. So for a day or two, the project seems to still have potential life. That is until Konami stepped in and said Silent Hill has been canceled. As a result, fans were left in a pretty unusual state. While many fans typically take on cancellations as a bitter pill that eventually gets swallowed, many Silent Hill fans refuse to do so. As we've reported on previous, as this report had reported previous, a small contingent of fans started a petition to save Silent Hills from cancellation, to give to Del Toro and Kajima to work on again. Well, the contingent used to be small. Since that report, the Silent Hills petition has grown in immense popularity, to the point it now accounts over 50,000 signatures. Clearly, fans are disappointed to see Silent Hills canceled, and they hope that this petition will do something to change that. Chances are, though, the petition is unlikely to bring Kojima back to the project. I like it. The Metal Gear Solid development's relationship with Konami is anything but friendly at this point. The last thing he likely wants to do is work with Konami. His relationship is so strained that Kojima didn't even accept an award for his game, despite it being a pretty prestigious honor in the Japanese development community. But this petition could convince Konami that there is a ravenous Silent Hill fan base out there that are just dying for a new game. They might see this as a sign to not put Silent Hill on the back burner, but to fast track another iteration. Hopefully, that game will have the same level of talent attached, but Kojima and Del Toro seem to like a one-time pairing. So, sorry guys.
Yeah.
It is disappointing. BCK, I was really adamant. No, Kojima's going to be staying, till the release of Metal Gear Solid 5. BCK says no, it was canceled, and I looked into it a little bit more, and I found this article, and yes, it has been officially canceled. So, excuse me, 1 second. Go ahead and discuss it. Blow my nose.
Konami needs a kick in the ass. At least mute your mic for that. Jeez.
I know, right?
I did mute my mic. I didn't mute the Skype mic. I muted the stream mic. So you guys get to hear that.
That's awesome.
So I apologize, guys. My allergies are so bad this today, and it's really actually hard for me to talk today.
Yeah, allergies are horrible right now.
They're awful. So sorry about that. So yeah, that's really. I was really looking forward to that game. I really was.
Well, I mean, there's so much hype and buzz about that game. I don't know if it's. I know they canceled it, but who's to say someone else won't come along and pick it up?
They can't.
I mean, it doesn't mean that it's dead. It just means it's canceled for now.
Well,
when games get canceled, brought back, canceled, brought back. I don't know. This might be the end. It could be the end. I don't know.
Well, because it's a Konami, title, and because it was their project, and I see this as another. What was it? StarCraft Ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was another. For those who don't know, StarCraft Ghost was a Blizzard project that was being made before World of Warcraft came out, and it was highly anticipated, and it looked like an amazing game. I don't even know what the premises was of it. They never really showed us. I mean, I think they showed us, but I can't remember what it was. But they put it on the back burner because World of Warcraft was coming out, and they never picked it back up, and it's dead in the water.
Yeah, it was supposed to be another MMO. It was supposed to be an MMO and StarCraft.
It could happen. I mean, I mean, that's that's very possible that it could happen. But we don't know. I mean, none of us really know. I mean, whatever's going on in their camp, I don't know that we're ever going to get the full story. But it's definitely getting a lot of press. It's definitely getting
Yeah.
a lot of talk and buzz, and I do know that that game is one that a lot of fans were looking forward to, and I think that if there's any way that they can find a way to make that game, it'll probably get made, because again, it comes down to it. Publishers are in it for the money, and if they can find a legal way, and it, of course it has to be legal. If they can find a legal way, I think they'll try to find a way. I don't know that they can, but I think they'll try. I guess in this is one of those cases only time's going to tell, right? I mean, none of us really know how it's going to turn out until it turns out, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I put the link to the petition in the chat. Slickerdoodle and a couple of others were asking for it, so I put it in there. Just, guys, sign it. You never know. Change can happen.
We can make a difference.
That's right.
Maybe.
There are like 5,000 signatures, a little over 5,000 signatures away from 75,000 signatures. That's amazing.
Wow.
That's what I mean. It's so popular. I just don't see it going away. I don't know that it'll be. Maybe it won't be published by Konami. Maybe it's going to go somewhere else. But I don't know. I don't know that a game that's because this game is popular.
Right, but it's owned by
So-
Konami. Konami owns Silent Hill, so anything asset-wise, anything what's already been done is owned by Konami. And like we said already, Kajima was fired by Konami. He was just he was brought in again. He was fired, but he was brought in as a special consultant working on this game and just going to get paid commission for working on this game. Well, I guess something must have happened really bad to piss Kajima off to the point of no return, where he just says, "Hey, you know what? I'm done. I'm out of here."
And him being with his culture of Japanese culture, his honor would probably be outweighed the whatever price they would throw at him. I don't know. Some people can be bought, but I don't know.
And like people say, the petition. You can talk about the petitions, and it's fine if you believe in and you want to sign it. Let's go right ahead. I'm not telling you not to. But if Konami is anything like Activision, don't hold your breath. Activision had 350,000 people sign a petition to remaster. I think it was Modern Warfare 2. On the new, bring it back for the new gen consoles like the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. And what do you call it? Just looked at it and said, "Psh, whatever, we're not doing this." That's because they can. They don't have to do what you guys want them to do.
No, it
But
don't hurt to
if
try.
if they were a good
Doesn't
company who listened to their fans, then
they would, right?
they would, say, this is not feasible right now. We can't do this at this point. Give you a reason why they can't do something, or give you, hey, we were thinking about this anyways. Well, thank the community for bringing this up, and we know it's nice to hear that the community wants this done.
Right.
I mean, all that a petition does is just basically make them look at it.
Yeah,
It doesn't change anything.
No.
They just have to look
But
at
it
it.
also allows fans to have their voices heard in even a small amount.
because the company doesn't even have to look at the petition. If it really doesn't want to look at it, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not going to look at it, and you can write whatever you want, make it all pretty and doctored up, and if they don't want to look at it, they're not going to look at it. And like I said, I hate being a negative person here because I'd love to see it released too. But
How many gamers would you say there are though?
what in the world?
Just gamers.
Millions?
Hundreds and hundreds of millions. I mean, it's
Right. That's hundreds and hundreds
As much
of
as
millions.
what the population is.
300,000 ain't even a percent of that. So it's
It's 1%.
if that. So
If that.
I mean, it does seem like that might be a lot of signatures. When you really look at how many there are as a community of gamers, that's really just a drop in the bucket of the entire community. Now, if that had been 3 million signatures, we would have that game remade. I can promise you that. Because they would have looked at it, ooh, there's 3 million people that would rebuy this game. But 300,000 to them is probably like nothing. It's probably you probably hit something right there, Kaz. They probably just looked and said, "Oh, Ralph, 300, whatever." I'm not even gonna look at that. I'm not even gonna look at that petition because there's not that many. To them, that's not that many signatures.
I mean,
so.
Yeah. And again, I mean,
Yeah, BC.
Like a small MMO, like we were talking a couple of weeks ago. You know, if it's 5,000, 50,000 people, 100,000 people playing it. I don't consider that, a dead MMO. I don't consider that a failed MMO because you only need a couple of hundred, people to keep the servers running and, pay for the service. Right. At BCK, that's not a known fact. Blizzard lies about their numbers, so don't ever say and think that what they tell you is true. But, I mean, I would have loved to see this game, especially with Del Toro and Kajima together working on it. I mean, Del Toro is such a cult
storyteller.
Right. His movies, his...
Well, he's the only author besides Tabitha King that scares Stephen King.
He just comes up with...
Saying a lot.
I mean, it'd be like throwing Rob Zombie and what's the lady who left Naughty Dog and is working with EA.
And what's her name?
Yeah, it's like throwing those two together and hey, here's a $1 billion budget. Go make a scary game together, or that'd probably terrify you. It'd terrify your kids' because that's just Rob Zombie is so creative what he can do, and he has such a tormented mind that he'll go to any limit to make you scared and crap your pants. So Del Toro and Kajima has been one of these great iconic builder of games and for how many years? I mean, he's one of those household iconic names that when his name is on something, he puts his heart and soul and pours everything he can into that game, as long as he's allowed to. We're not saying that every game he made is perfect, and because we all know that we don't like this, we want you to change it. Well, you kind of have to go with whoever's paying you to change those things. So, I mean, I would love to see, and we were talking about this, matter of fact, I think it was last week or the week before, that if Kajima does leave and he makes his own company, starts his own independent company, just think of the talent that he could amass to come to his company to make games because of his name alone.
Right.
So what do you think, Kat? This kind of brings up that trend we were talking about, I think, last week and the week before. The four of us were talking about it when we were talking about our indie game section. Are you seeing the potential of another high-profile developer leaving a major company, starting another independent? Because I'm seeing a lot of that, guys. I'm really seeing a lot of that, and they're leaving big companies to create these smaller indie companies, bringing in great talent to produce indie titles.
And again,
so
it's going to happen.
You think that might be possible?
Yeah, because what we were saying before too, and again, this is let's say 10 years down the road, right? And that's actually not a far reach, where you're going to start seeing these AAA powerhouse companies slowly deteriorating, and all these high-profile players and all these high-profile artists, scripters, coders, storytellers, they're going to leave and create their own companies because as an independent developer, you don't have to go through all this red tape. You could just create your game, put it up on Kickstarter, and have the crowdfund it. And if you get a big name like Crowstorm is a big, it broke all types of record on Kickstarter because of who's behind the game. The other one is, what the hell was the other game that we showed? It was an independent developer, but these guys are been around since Ultima days. They created, and they were the masterminds of creating games like System Shock and BioShock and all these type of games.
Oh, was that Adrift?
No, it was oh my god, I forgot what it was. We had it. It was like the third or fourth show. I don't remember exact.
Oh, okay.
But it was one of those indie games that I put up there. It was a Kickstarter. Any of these high-profile guys, like I said, Del Toro, and Kajima, these guys can attract. We saw it with Cliffy B when he left Epic. He's the mastermind behind Unreal Tournament and Gears of War. I mean, two big name franchises. He left Epic after 13 years or whatever and decided, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm making my own company. And now he's working on Project Blue Streak, or, it's one of those, and the guys, Bungie, they can turn around and say, you know what, screw these big AAA companies. We're sick of having to go through all this red tape, and decide they want to leave and leave. It's going to happen more and more, and you're going to start seeing more of these big names.
I think so too. Yeah.
Deciding to go indie, and it's a great thing because they don't have the. I mean, just here's a AAA title that came out that kind of like. It disappointed a lot of people, and it didn't disappoint me because I wasn't expecting it going to be scary anyways. And I thought the game atmosphere was absolutely amazing. Probably one of the best horror atmosphere games I've seen in a long time, and that was Evil Within. Now, let's say Evil Within actually was made by an indie developer who had all the power that he had to make. These guys had to make this game. How much of a different type of game do you think that Evil Within would have been?
Yeah.
Because, you can't show this or that. You can't say, you can't see this in the game. Or just the storytelling could have been so differently. And again, I have nothing against Evil Within. I thought the atmosphere in the game, like I told you, I was sitting, while I was playing it, I'm walking down this road and I just see the fog along the river. And on the other side of the river, I see a castle. And just the fog rolling across the top of the water was like, whoa, hey, this is a screenshot worth me taking and putting on my desktop because it was a beautiful scene. And it was so, immersive. Is what I'm trying to get at. It's really immersive on how well they did that game. Now, if the story was 10 times better, I think that game would have been easily probably one of the best horror games in the last 10 years.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely see your point there. I mean, I liked Evil Within. I didn't find it very scary at all, but if it had the freedom of like an indie game, it definitely would have been a different game.
I do too. I agree with Sid there. I think if he didn't have
restrictions.
That's the good word. That's the perfect word for it. These developers or these publishers, these big publishers like that, they do have a certain, walls that are put up that you can and cannot do. You can do this, but you can't do that. You can do this, but you can't do that. And indie developers, they can do whatever their imagination wants to create. There's no limitation. This is, again, why I work in the independent comic industry. I don't have the rules of Disney to tell me what I can and cannot do, or DC for that matter. I can do whatever I want. And there's just something satisfying about that. I think, remember, guys, the evolution of Image Comics, leaving, big time creators, leaving Marvel to pursue indie stuff, to pursue their indie dreams. And look what it has become. I mean, look where McFarlane, he's a good example. He's got that, billion-dollar toy company, Spawn, and on and on and on. We're seeing this happen, I think, in games now. The same type of thing where we got this stuff that's going on, and these guys are leaving. And they're leaving probably for corporate reasons, things we're not going to know about. But I'm sure there's some kind of creative constraints there, keeping these guys from putting out the games they want to put out. And I see these guys actually getting tired of it. I think that's a lot of it. So, no.
Okay, well, Kaz, do you have anything else to add to that, or?
No, it's just, I love that a lot of these guys, and again, Kajima, I could see going by himself, and creating his own company, because he to me, knowing him for so many years with his games and how passionate he is, I don't think he can get away from the industry and stay away from it. I think he's one of those guys going to be around for another 25 years. I mean, he's that type of guy, where he's really passionate. If he's not making games, he's not happy. So I would seriously look out in the next. I wouldn't say right now, but I would say like 6 months down the road. You never know. We might be airing something he's kickstarting. From an indie developer's standpoint, we might be having another show. So we'll see.
Well, Kaz, let's see. Do you have anything in your corner today, along with the esports and the MMO news?
Esports. I'm still trying to find out the name of that new MOBA that's coming out. It looks like a Heroes of the Storm type of. I wouldn't say rip-off, but one of those type of MOBA type. It's probably borrows from everybody else like they all do. I'm still trying. I'm looking. I saw it a couple weeks ago, and it just kind of like one of those things that flashed on my screen, and I didn't click on it fast enough, and it gone, and it was. And I usually can find things pretty quickly, but this one's been eluded me for a long time.
Well, as far as e-news, I mean, I know Sliminum. Part of our stream team was actually in an MLG game, and unfortunately, it looks like it didn't go very well for him today. I believe he was playing FIFA.
I've been so busy with everything else.
I just found out last night, and today was like really hectic for I missed it, and I wanted to be there for him. So I apologize, Slim, that I wasn't there for you, man. So, but it looks like it didn't go over too well. So, but hey, man, you competed in it. That was awesome. So.
What I have in my corner tonight,
yeah,
it kind of comes to entitled gamers, as we're being called now because of what just happened with Steam. I know last week we talked about this, and I know it kind of like went up and went down pretty quickly. So I mean, it's been a long week, but all the mods for Skyrim, because Steam was going to, Steam was starting to charge and allow these independent people who make these mods, put them up for a price on, Steam Workshop. Well, apparently, it got taken down just as quickly as it went up because nobody was buying it, and people were saying they're not going to buy it. It's not, it's not going to happen. So.
Fail.
And another thing we were talking about last week was they're going to have to police this. And so they kind of figured that they did have to police this now because one of the mods that got taken down really quickly after we got put up for sale was just a basic fishing mod. But this fishing mod used 2 other mods within itself. So, and obviously that creator didn't give any credit or didn't even give any of the shares to these other 2 people that he was using the codes for. So they pulled down his mod really quickly. But now they're calling us, spoiled brat, entitled PC gamers, PC master race. You guys won again because and you know what? I love the PC, and I will always tell you why I love the PC and why I don't like the consoles. It's not that I hate the consoles, but and I know you guys all stick together here, but we know that the console generation and it's with a lot of these kids saying, okay, they're gonna stab you in the back any chance they get. Where us PC gamers seem to be not that way. At most, when the going gets tough for the PC gamers, we stick together. We really do. As much as we might not like each other sometimes, or we hate some of the things that are happening in the PC gaming world, we tend to kind of really stick together. It's one of those things that I love and fascinated about why PC is so different than consoles when it comes to the community. Because again, we put our foot down saying we're not paying for this shit. And excuse my language, we're not paying for this DLC. We're not paying for any of this shit. You're not gonna nickel and dime us. We're not having it. We put our foot down and we won. So I don't want to hear anybody say that they can't win in a fight like this, because they can. We might have more people blocking. I mean, like we said, and I said a couple of weeks ago, Steam does have over 100 million active users. So when enough of those people are saying something, Steam kind of opens their ears and listens, because they don't want to piss off 100 million people who can easily take their stuff and go to another company, like Origin, and buy all the games from Origin from now on, or Ubisoft, the Ubi Play. I don't know what you guys think, and I know most of you. I mean, Titch, you play computer games too. Same thing with Sid, but I don't know how you feel. You feel that the community for the PC is totally different than what it is for the console, or you feel it's the same type of way? I mean, I'm just looking at it from my point of view, is where we're more united than what a console gamers are.
I think we're more mature in the fact, because PC's been around a lot longer than consoles, and we are the leaders of how things pretty much should go. So I think with that we are more united, because we are an older group. I think there are more older gamers who do PC gaming more so than console gaming. So I think we're more mature in that aspect.
I don't know. I've been burned by both. I have
Yeah.
been in communities with PC, and I've been in communities with console, and I've been burned by both. So it it just depends.
But again, it also it also depends the game, because like with the Call of Duty community, even in the PC world, there's like the kids.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and I'm not talking about Call of Duty United Offense, Call of Duty 3, Call of Duty 2. I'm talking about Modern Warfare, Black Ops up.
Yeah.
Those are the younger communities. But yeah, the ones that I mentioned before, those are more the older communities too. So, and even back then, when there was a couple of young kids, but playing United Offense, but it was more. I didn't get as burned as much as I do now with the consoles.
Yeah.
Well, my take on this is just not. I see what you guys are saying. I don't see it so much as the device, the console community or the PC community, as much as I see it, the generation. I think the reason why you think that, the PC guys tend to rally around each other more is probably because a lot of the people that own PC are of a different generation playing games on PC, and the console, especially the Xbox in particular, tends to have the younger generation, and they just don't give a darn about anything. So
I think that's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
I think it's a generation thing, not necessarily PC or console. Although I do tend to think that PC gamers and the PC community, birds of a feather flock together type of a thing. But I think that's because the majority of gamers on PC are on average older than a lot of the gamers that are, say, on the Xbox Live community with your Call of Duty games. And I think that that's the biggest issue there. And that's just my personal thing, because, I mean, just think about how many young kids are on the Xbox, more so than probably any other I mean, that's the biggest console for kids, is the Xbox One, the Xbox 360. That is the choice of console for the younger generation, preferably, or preferably, whichever way you want to say it. But I have seen console people stand up and rally, and the Xbox One is a perfect example of a console community banning against something of their own. So, I mean, but I think it's the generation. I think it's our generation, and maybe the generation between us and the younger audience that tend to stand up more, whether they be PC gamers or whether they be console gamers. It just so happens the majority of people in our generation and the generation in between the younger generation, most of them are on PC or PC and a console. So there are larger numbers. So I think that's why it kind of appears that way. Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, if you think about the generation here, just about everybody in our generation has a PC, and they do tend to play games on their PCs more now than ever. And we tend to also, a lot of us game on consoles as well. Where you start getting into the console exclusives is when you start getting into, like, my kids' generation, where they play PC games because I expose them to it, but 95% of the time they're on their consoles. And I think that's where we're seeing the difference. The younger generations are more console people or console gamers, and our generation is probably more PC console. We're playing both. But I may be wrong, but that just seems to me that that's the case.
Now, let me ask you a question. I mean, we talk about this kind of off stream sometimes, and I know what you guys already said before, but I just want everybody else to basically get everybody else's opinion in chat, and not saying that we win every battle we ever fight on PC, because we don't. I mean, I've seen some whining and crying about certain games, like Mortal Kombat 10 per se just came out, a couple weeks ago, and the community was crying and complaining, the game's broken, blah, yada, yada, and I'm like, dude, just wait. Just wait. I mean, why are you so, in a rush? Just relax. You bought the game, they're gonna give it to you, just relax. And again, it's because I'm one of those, I guess, older generations where I have more patience for them releasing a game than these younger generation, I guess. But what I want to ask you guys is, a game like Call of Duty, we've seen it where the PC has protested Call of Duty time and time again because of what they choose to do. As a PC gamer, I am furious with what Activision decides and wants to do. They want to give, why should you guys have a better version than everybody else's? We don't sell that many versions of yours. Well, newsflash, maybe if you made it the way we told you to make it, or you would have left it alone, you would be selling a hell of a lot more on a PC. Because instead of, us, like Battlefield, we can have a 64 versus 64, 128 versus 128, 256 for 2 versus 256 if we want, because we have the power to do it. Well, a company like Activision comes along and says, you know what, when you guys are not getting 32 versus 32 anymore, you're going to get the same thing the console will get, whether you like it or not. Well, the PC game has decided, enough's enough. You ain't taking that to us anymore. We're not going to buy your games. So, do you feel as being, and I hate to use the word superior, because I don't want to be like I'm the PC elitist, but we have the superior hardware, is what I'm saying. We can run the games better than the consoles can, because we have more power. Now, should we get the games that the console guys get, or should we get the better version, is what I'm trying to see what you guys' opinions on.
Right. I get what you're saying.
The better version. I mean, it's whatever version comes out. PC is always going to get the better version, and it's mainly. I mean,
that's not true though. That's what I'm saying.
I know that's not. That's. I mean, it feels like it though. The thing is, I've seen where the argument where Activision or whomever says, well, you're going to get the 32-man server like everyone else on the consoles. I've seen that done, and I've seen the PC community go, well, F you, we're going to mod it, and I've seen it where it's actually just they've added their own servers and had their own number of people on that too. So I mean, with the PC, as long as there's someone out there that wants to do it, there's always going to be someone to mod it. I honestly think it should be the way that it used to be. The games were developed on a computer and then distributed out to a console in the fact of development. It's a hard argument because I mean I play both PC and console, and I do want to lean towards like PC, we should get the better game, hands down, because it should be created on a PC in the first place.
And
but
a lot of these older companies too, and I don't want to cut you off, Sado.
No, I am kind of going around in circles here. But,
a lot of these older, like CD Projekt Red, with The Witcher. Well, why does the PC version have to be always the better? Because, well, newsflash,
it's developed on a PC.
It was a PC title first before it was ever a console title, and they're PC first company, and like. Everybody's saying, well, why the hell did, recall, well, blah, blah, blah. The console sold 3 million copies within 24 hours of Grand Theft Auto release, and why the hell did the PC version have to get the better version? Because we have a modding community that allows us to have the better version. I don't know. I mean, just the people are just outraged that we get the better version of Grand Theft Auto 5. I mean...
And I think it also comes down with the developers wanting to see how much they can push it, and they can't do that on the console.
Right, because they're limited by what the hardware has. But again, I mean, like you said, you do have these companies who are PC first, and then, it's ported over the consoles, where then you have games like Call of Duty who are made just specifically for the consoles and then ported over the PC, which don't ask me how that works, but...
Which is also backwards, too, because originally Call of Duty was a PC game.
Right. It was originally on the PC first. Again, I mean... it
started out
and it came from for anybody that doesn't know Call of Duty, why Activision has Call of Duty, the group of developers were at EA, and they made Medal of Honor series, which made Medal of Honor very popular. It was probably one of the most popular shooters in a long time. And Medal of Honor Allied Assault was probably the best Medal of Honor game, period. They left EA and they went to Activision and made Call of Duty. And Call of Duty was almost the same exact game as Medal of Honor Allied Assault, and they kept it that way. But over the years, Activision just turned into these money-hungry SOBs. I mean, they tried suing EA, I don't know how many times already, over the whole Call of Duty, Infinity Ward thing, and then the whole, the Jack Black, Aussie game with Brutal Legends.
Oh, Brutal Legends.
Where they're the ones who dropped it in the first place.
Such a good game.
And said, they didn't want nothing to do with it, and they're not going to release it. So EA picked up the developer and the game and released it. Finished, paid for and re-released the game or whatever. And Activision was so pissed off, they went after them with a lawsuit. It's like, come on, you dropped the game and now EA is making a kill out of this game, and now you want a piece of the pie because you didn't think it was going to be as big as it was? I mean, I really hate Activision. I really do. I mean, if you guys don't know it already, I've been a long time hater of Activision. And now that
really couldn't tell. Now
that Blizzard's part of it, it makes it even sweeter the deal. Because of those two companies.
Well, I don't. The way I see this whole, versions, the PC versions, should you guys get the better version of the game, and all these console people crying because the Grand Theft Auto 5 is the better game on the PC. Let me just step this back into the world of technology. I don't care if it's a video game or not. Let's take this into the movie distribution, which is videotapes, DVDs, etc. Okay? The movie distribution line. If you want the best quality of the movie, you got to buy it on the Blu-ray. So stop crying if you bought the game or bought the movie on a VHS tape and it's not quite as good or near as good as the people that went out and bought the money or bought the Blu-ray player and bought the Blu-ray disc to play the same movie on. It's a pointless argument. If you want the best experience of anything in technology, you go with the best hardware to deliver that experience on, the best device that is out on the market. That's called economy. That's called consumer awareness. If you want the best experience, spend the freaking money on it to get the best experience. Don't cry about it, and don't whine about it like these guys are crying about GTA is better on the PC than it is a console. No, of course it is. I mean, you're not going to get the quality of a movie on a VHS tape that you're going to get on a Blu-ray. It's unrealistic to think that you're going to do so. So if you only spent $1.99 on a VHS tape and you spent $14.99 on your Blu-ray version, naturally you're going to get the most definitive version of that movie you're going to possibly get. So crying about it ain't going to change it. It's the way it is. It's the technology itself. I personally am not upset with the fact that PC gamers get higher quality games than I do. You know how much sleep I lose over it? That much. Because I don't care if you got 1080p 60 frames a second, because I don't have a PC that can play that. I don't have one. Why don't I have that? Don't have that one? Well, for one thing, I got a wife, 2 kids, and multiple consoles, and all this other stuff. And that's my money can only go so far. It's just the way it is. But now, if I had a console or if I had a PC like you and Sid have, and maybe even what Titches had, then I would probably buy more PC games. But I don't. So I go with the next best alternative for my lifestyle, That just happens to be consoles. And I can afford that easier, and I can afford to buy the games on that. And so I have come to terms with the fact that, well, it might not necessarily be the best version of this game, but it's close enough.
Well,
and so
I kind of feel that way
I'm
too,
happy with
because there are certain games that I want to play that I would love to play on my PC.
Right.
But I can't, because I can't afford to upgrade my PC. And Dragon Age Inquisition
Right.
is a very prime example of that. I cannot afford to upgrade the PC to the point where it will have enough graphics and RAM to be able to run Dragon Age Inquisition without me, taking a step and going, okay, I'm waiting for it to stop lagging now. So that's, or even if it would even run the game in the first place. My PC is pretty good. My PC does very well. But you know what? My PS4 is going to run Dragon Age. Maybe not as good as it should, as if it were a PC version, but I agree with Pandora. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not okay, first of all, I want to address the original comment, which was he's talking about how they're saying that PC, I can't, oh my God, Kaz, you got me defending PC gang people, and I hate it. But PC gamers put a lot of money into their hardware. They're as adamant about their hardware and the building of their PCs as they are the games they're playing on it, because that's what you do. It's, oh my God, I got a freaking, I'm not even going to start quoting stuff because that's how much I know about it. But when you guys start throwing out RAM and you start throwing out your processing cards and you start talking about your CPU versus your GPU, and you're talking about all this stuff, and I've got liquid nitrogen running through mine, and you guys, when you're building your PCs, you guys get a woody over this stuff when you're talking about this stuff, because it's what you do. You build these computers, you build these super PCs, and then you play these games on them to the maximum amount of DPIs and things that you can run them on at the highest frame rates, and you earn the right to do so. That's what I'm saying. If I'm going to spend $2,000 on a piece of hardware, then I should by all means, should I have the best experience. I should have the highest DPI, the highest frame rates, the best processing, the best everything. It should be the ultimate experience, because I spent the ultimate amount of money to play it on that. And that's what I'm getting at. I hate to have to defend PC people. I just absolutely hate to do so. But you all have a consumer right. That does not mean it's not entitlement. This entitlement crap I'm tired of hearing it. I've got a lot of reasons to bash the PC community, but that ain't one of them. You guys, it's not entitlement. It's a consumer right to get the best experience, because you are spending out that kind of money for that experience. Then you should be allowed to play it on the ultimate experience that you can. And again, I bring it back to this. If I'm only going to pay $50 for a VCR or $350 for a Blu-ray player, by God, I should be able to get the ultimate experience watching a movie, because I spent $350 on a Blu-ray player, not $50. So the $350 I spent, I should get the higher quality, the better experience. And you guys have that right. It's a right for you to, as a consumer, to get that experience. That's my personal opinion on it, and I hate having to stick up for PC people, the PC gaming community, but I mean, you should get the best experience for the money you're spending. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Kaz, the money you spend on your PC, Sid as well, you should not just be playing these video games. These video games should get up, walk in the kitchen, find out what you want for dinner, throw that bad boy in the oven, for you and bring it back and serve it to you while you're gaming for the kind of money you all spend on your hardware. That's the ultimate experience.
I wish it did too.
Because you guys spend some serious money on your hardware, so you should get the best experience.
But again, I mean,
you just really should.
There's other ways where, like, and I hate. I'm even saying this, but like Bruno, for me and we were talking about it, and WWE 2K15 is now on PC, right? Well, it costs Bruno $60 for the game, and then he has to pay for all his DLC, which is I don't know how much extra, probably like another $40 like it always is. So he paid like a total of $90 for his game, right? Because he's such a huge WWE fan. Well, PC, it's not $60. It's $50. It's $49.99, right? And it has all DLC included for free. So that brings me to the next point where it's like, is this okay for them to do it? I mean, yeah, the game is already, 6 months? It came out in October. So it's already 6 months, 8 months old. I mean, come on now. I mean, even them charging the $50, I feel like they shouldn't be charging that because the game's already how old. I mean, yeah, it's due on the PC, which is great, but I could have bought it on the console 8 months ago for, and I would have had. So right. I think that even though that they put it on the PC and they did knock $10 off, I would want more off. If they released it for $30, and I wouldn't have a problem with it. I'd probably go and buy it tomorrow because I think that's a good deal. Like Destiny was supposed to be on the PC as well, and it never came. So I don't know what they're doing with that, but what do you think about stuff like that? Is when it is released on the PC, whether it be you guys get it first. And you have to pay all the stuff. Like, let's say Destiny came out on the PC, and we paid $30 for it with all the DLC that you guys already paid for. Would you guys be pissed about that?
Me, no.
No, because the game's been out for a while. I understand that it's new to whatever device it may be going on at a later date. But for example, part of the Destiny news is that in the new with the new DLC releases, people that pick that up are going to be able to play the content from the first some of the content from the first DLC, and they not have to pay for it. It's because the game needs to do that to keep everybody in the same level. And I don't want to bring this game up so we create another argument about the game. What I'm saying is, a game that comes out on a console before it comes out on a PC and then doesn't come out on the console for 8 months, why should you guys have to pay the same amount of money for a game that technically has, I understand it's new to the PC, but it's still been out for a while. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is when a game like The Last of Us comes out on like a PlayStation 3, then a new console releases, and the game has been out for over a year, and then it releases on the remastered version, and then it releases on the new gen console, and it's the same price as it was when it released. It's like they did the same thing with the definitive edition of Tomb Raider. It's like, why am I paying the same price again? This game is technically still old.
it costs a little bit more to reprint the definitive word on the
remastered.
Yeah, they had to make new covers.
Yeah. I mean, it's
printing is expensive.
Even like what, Resident Evil 1, remastered HD version, whatever. It's $20 on the PC. You know what? That's probably the highest selling PC digital downloader in a long time because of everybody loved that game. That's one of the, but we haven't seen it in how many freaking years? So a game like that charges $20. I don't care about paying $20. I don't care if it came out 30 years ago. It's like if they ever release some of my favorite games again on PC, like dare I say it, I mean, Phantasy Star Online version 1 and 2, if it was ever re-released, remastered on the PC, I'd go apeshit, batshit crazy for it, because that's one of the games I absolutely loved in my life, you know? Or Suikoden is another one. It's one of those games that it was released, remastered, and thrown on the PC for $20-$30. Yeah, it's been gone for how many years? I wouldn't complain about it. I would just pay it and shut up and love it because I'm a big fan of it. I just really wanted to see what you guys' opinion, you know, and I love that we have this on tape because Pandora stood up and back to the PC.
Forced me to. Oh my God, you tricked me, dude. I think you tricked me into that one, but I got to be honest about it. You know, that's what this show's all about. We're all about honesty and stuff. But I mean, as much as I hate to have to defend the PC for certain things, that's not one of them. At least I'm being honest about it. I think it was a good, you know, it was good that you brought that up because I do see you guys kind of getting a lot of heat from, you know, from the press as well as, you know, console gamers. And I think it's just unwarranted. I mean, my whole argument is we're all consumers, right? In the end, we're consumers. Why do people choose to buy consoles? Probably because they can afford that. If they could afford the high-end PCs, then they would probably buy that. But a lot of people, they choose the console because it's their next best alternative, or they just absolutely love consoles. I mean, games come out on consoles the way they come out on consoles because, let's face the facts, let's look at the industry as a whole. When you watch all of these, the history of the video games, which system is not included in the history of the video games? The PC. They never talk about the PC in any of these documentaries that you watch. It's always Nintendo, it's always the Atari, it's always the console makers. And I think that that's why these publishers tend to do the things that they do. They put these games out and they put their attention on these consoles before they put their attentions on the PCs. And that's why we get, which is, I don't understand this no more than you guys do. Games are built on PCs to start with and then ported, you know, made for the consoles. And why there's such an issue with some of these games being played on the PC, I don't know. It's confusing to me. I don't understand why there are issues with video games, because video games are made on the PC and then ported over to the different consoles, specific consoles. I don't understand why there's issues with these games either. I think Sid was trying to talk about it earlier in the week about a couple of things, about some game that he noticed that played better on the console than the PC version, and he couldn't understand why. And
I get it too.
I couldn't either. I was like, it don't make no sense, Sid. And he was like, I know.
I bought Advanced Warfare on the PC, and the console guys run it better than I do. And I have $1,000 graphics card in my PC, where, you know, it's twice the amount of what the consoles cost. I mean, and why they can run it better than I can, and just
right.
I have no idea why.
I want to answer BCK's question here. To be fair, $500 for a console. I didn't pay $500 for my console. I paid $400 for my console. $800 for a PC. I could have two consoles for the price of that right there. For me, $400 is a big chunk of change. And if I can save $400, I'm going to save $400. That's just my personal thing, because like I said, I got two children that I have to raise, and $400 on two kids goes a long way. So it's either I can spend the $800 on a PC and not have any money left over, or I can spend the $400 and have $400 in my pocket to spend on the kids. So that's just basic economy, man. It comes down to the mighty dollar, and to somebody, $400, I don't know, maybe that's chump change to you guys, but $400 ain't no chump change to me. That's a pretty big deal. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot when you got kids and medical bills and prescriptions you have to pay for, life stuff, right? That money can be spent to do other things, and that's why I don't have a. If I had the $800 to spend on a PC, I would spend the $800 on a PC, but I don't. So I go with consoles. That's just me personally, though. I can't speak for the rest of you three or anyone else in the chat room. I'm just saying, as a consumer, consoles are attractive to me because I can. Okay, the bottom line is I want to play video games, and I'm willing to pay. I'm willing to take a console and play on it, and save $400 or $500 to play on that, and get the little bit lesser experience. Because I know I'm getting the lesser experience, but I don't care. I don't care if one is 1080p on a PC at 60 frames, or if it's 1080p 30 frames on my console. It's still 1080p. So, you see what I'm getting at there? That's kind of my take. But again, that's why I spend money on consoles and not on PCs, because I could buy 2 consoles, and since I got 2 kids, that's one for each one. Then I might have a chance to play.
Yeah, and then you'll be able to play with me and be able to be on Hardline and stuff like that.
Right?
Done, and it's like, I'm too tired to play. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, but I got the PlayStation.
We were actually talking about a game that we could all play together. Even that you have a PlayStation 4, you don't have a PC, Pandora, and you can actually play the game with us. And we were talking about Final Fantasy, 14 Online, because it's cross-platform. So we would be in cinema talking, hey, we can get Pandora in the mix too, because he can get on the PlayStation 4 and play the same thing.
I might have to look into that.
Yeah.
Thing is, I don't know that that's his type of game.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's willing to try.
Titch, you know what's bad? What's bad is I was even considering at one point playing that silly, what is it, that game you guys have been playing, and I call it the Facebook game.
Helldivers. Helldivers?
Yeah,
Helldivers, yeah.
Looks like a tablet game. But I was like, wait a minute, those are my friends playing, and they're having a whole lot of fun playing, and I'm not in there.
Having a blast, man.
Isn't that part of this?
I wasn't in there either, so I feel you paid it out.
Well, hey, Pandora, if you do get Final Fantasy 14, you can ride a fat peep, a fat chocobo, which is basically just this oversized chicken.
It's a giant peep.
Yeah, it's a giant
peep.
It's a giant peeps. Well, moving right along. Oh my gosh! Speaking of Sony, Sony's much touted virtual reality headset Project Morpheus has been doing the rounds as of late, including this year's GDC event, with a handful of exclusive demos designed to immerse your senses in a new interactive experience. In fact, one of these demos was so convincing, Sony had to remove the ability to turn a virtual gun on yourself due to the potentially damaging the psychological effects it could have on the user. The change was revealed in an interview with President of Sony Worldwide Studios. I'm going to butcher this. I'm going to butcher this name. Shuhei Yoshida in the latest issue of the official PlayStation magazine. Quote, "It can be quite scary. Originally, when the Sony London team was making the London heist demo, they had the ability for you to shoot yourself," he commented in issue 109 of OPM. "You could point the gun at yourself, and that felt wrong. It was too stressful, so they removed it. The medium is so powerful, so we need to be careful with what we provide." In a stroke of painful irony, Yoshida felt the power of Morpheus virtual reality tech, set to release in 2016, would be perfectly suited to a horror game, something similar to the recently removed Silent Hills teaser PT playable trailer. Although it should have been said that Shu did make the comments prior to the event of Konami. Alas, the marriage of the Kajima's horror romp and Morpheus immersion will live on in our dreams or nightmares, depending on how you look at it. So, It's kind of disturbing that they even considered having something to a virtual reality set and you be able to shoot yourself. Well, I mean, Persona, the game Persona. I mean, pretty much. I think was one of the premises, wasn't it? I don't know if
I don't know.
You guys were familiar with Persona.
Oh yeah.
I think Kazlan was. I think that was part of it. Wasn't that you had to shoot yourself in order to release your limit break or something like that?
Persona? I don't remember Persona.
It was an RPG game.
Oh, okay.
So, but that's kind of disturbing. That the virtual reality is so lifelike. Your brain can't tell the difference, and it would actually damage your psychological effect on you, or have a psychological effect on you.
That's messed up.
It's messed up. That ain't right, man. That ain't right. Let's see here. Oh, we need to do some indie games. You have something to say?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, speaking of PlayStation 4, you know that they just dropped the price in the Middle East.
Yes.
It was only like like $40 or $60. It was $440, and they dropped it down to like $380 or $360, something like. It was something dramatic, and people why are they doing it over there, not over here? It's already been out for freaking 2 years. I don't know. It was just one of those things that was on my head because the PlayStation 4 came up. So.
All right. Well, we got a couple of indie games here today. I picked some of them out today. So we have a total of 3 today. 2 of which I did pick, and 2 of which I did pick. One pick was from Pandora.
That's right.
So,
I picked one.
Kaz is going to leave, and so the first one that we have is called. It's an indie game called A Story About My Uncle. Now this, and I had the description up here. It's a non-violent first-person shooter about a guy who's basically searching for his uncle, and he goes on this wondrous adventure to find it into this weird new dimensional world. And you use a grappling hook and such like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and play that trailer.
Play that beautiful.
Second here.
Play that beautiful trailer.
Play that funky music.
The story that you're telling me is, and I mean this by the true definition.
I'm sorry, guys. That is the wrong trailer. I have these backwards. My bad.
I told her that he was my uncle, and that I was looking for him. This was going to be a challenge. Fred had come this way alone, too. If he could do it, I could do it, too.
So that is a story about my uncle, and it is out on Steam. It's already released on Steam. I'm not sure how much it is, but it looks like a pretty interesting game. So the next one up is called Titan Soul, and this is the one that Waffling Brit kind of got me into, and I started playing this morning a little bit. So let me. I told you a little bit about it at the beginning of the show. And let me show you the trailer. So that's Titan Souls. That one's it is super tough. It doesn't look that tough, but you basically have basic movement. You have a dodge button and you have a shoot button, and that's pretty much it. So you have to really be on your guard and learn each pattern of the bosses, and it's a one-hit kill. As soon as you get hit, it brings you back to a save point, and you just have to walk all the way back to find that boss again. And it's boss after boss after boss. And
you said the name of the show.
Super tough. I did. I said the name of the show without knowing. I said save point. Okay. So this next one is that I accidentally almost showed is called Through the Woods. Pandora, yes. Are you playing this one, or have you played this one? No,
but I've got the information on the game.
Sure, sure. Tell us a little bit.
It's called Through the Woods, and the developer is Antagonist. It will be released on PC in 2016. It was green lighted, so it's if you guys are familiar with that. So the project is in development, and what it is, it's a third-person psychological horror game set in a forest on the western shores of Norway about a mother and her missing son. Through dynamic narration, you play the mother's retelling of the events surrounding her son's disappearance in a setting heavily influenced by Norse mythology and Norwegian folk tales. With Through the Woods, the Norwegian Indi studio is attempting to capture the forest as they saw it as children, with all the frightening and mysterious feelings of roaming the woods alone. And some of the features will be dynamic narration for the dialogue that tells the story in the present, putting the player's actions into past tense. The environments and stories are inspired by Norwegian art and nature and Norse mythology. There's a heavy focus on audio design as part of the core mechanic, and the creative use of light and darkness, making your expectations play tricks on you. Let's see, a profound experience that will leave you feeling as if you're waking up from a nightmare.
Interesting. All right, well, let's see the rest of the trailer that I accidentally showed. All right, here we go.
The story that you're telling me is an And I mean this by the true definition of the word. Unbelievable. I mean, ghosts, creatures from children's books and some sort of a higher power. All of that hidden on an island that doesn't even exist. I've been out there, okay? The lake's too small. I can throw a rock across from one side to the other. There is no island out there. No forest to hide all these things that you claim to have seen. Listen, I need you to help me understand, okay? Help me figure out what happened to him. Just tell me where he is. Where is your son?
Through the woods and on the
I know. I was wondering if it has any background into that possible folklore. I'm wondering if they've, Stephen Sondheim may have known of that, and since it's not based on Norwegian folklore, and incorporated some of that into his idea for Into the Woods.
Looks interesting, though. I'd like to. I'm kind of curious to know a little bit more about it, though. I mean,
Yeah.
the trailer did exactly what it's supposed to do. It teased me. So.
Yep.
Well, those are some pretty cool picks. If I do say so myself.
And you did.
But yeah. So and retro, the Titan Souls is on PS4. I'm not so sure about the story about my uncle, and I think that's only PC, and as well as Through the Woods is only PC as well. Let's see here. In other news, let's see. Pandora, do you have any of the PS4 news?
I do. I have a little news on the PS4. I don't know if anybody wants to cover the Xbox One news, but we have a little bit of that as well. In PlayStation 4 news, as part of Sony's earnings announcement for its fiscal year ending March 31st, the Japanese technology giant announced that total worldwide PlayStation 4 shipments have reached 22.3 million units. Sony shipped 14 million PS4s during its fiscal year in 2014, which ended on March 31st of 2015, after shipping 7.5 million for the fiscal year of 2013, which is March 31st of 2014. PS4 sales were not tallied for the fiscal year in 2012, since the period ended in March 31st, 2013, 8 months before the console went on sale in November. Overall, Sony's Game and Network Services division, which houses PlayStation, posted year-over-year gains for revenue and operating profit. This growth was led in part by an increase in the PS4 hardware unit sales and a significant jump in the network service revenue, but partially offset by falling PlayStation 3 hardware and software sales. Looking ahead, Sony said recently that it is expected to sell another 16 million PS4s in the current fiscal year. The PS4 still has a lot of work to do to catch its predecessor, as the PS3 has sold more than 80 million units worldwide as of November 2013. But the PS4 is showing positive signs of being able to do that someday, as the console is outselling the PS3 at the same period in their respective life cycles. Making a comparison to Microsoft's Xbox One isn't easy. Microsoft has not provided an Xbox One shipment number since November of 2014, when the company announced a worldwide figure to close to 10 million, which making matters trickier, of course, is that Microsoft has been combining Xbox One and Xbox 360 sales in its earnings report as a general Xbox sales. So we don't really have the numbers on Xbox One separately because they combine them together. So, but yeah, I mean that's a lot of units. 22.3.
Yeah, that's. I'm sorry. I was just reading a little bit of the chat and I'm laughing. Sorry, but no, that's yeah. So Xbox is still not really releasing their numbers, are they?
No, what they're doing is they're releasing their numbers, and they haven't released any numbers since November of 2014. And when they did release those numbers, they were Xbox together. I mean, it was Xbox. It was including their sales of Xbox 360 and the Xbox One. So I haven't been able to, and I've been looking hard. I cannot find the actual sales from the 360s and the Xbox Ones separate from one another. Every time I've ever seen a sales, they're included together. So, and I've gone on all the sales database sites and stuff, and I'm trying my best to figure out just how many of Xbox Ones have sold to date. But they're not they're not leaving anything out there for you to catch as far as what their individual sales are for the Xbox One and what the actual sales for the Xbox 360s. Which of those 10 million actually went to the Xbox One and so on and so forth. So it is kind of hard to tell what their actual true numbers are. And since they haven't released any sales figures since then, it's making it even more difficult. But
well, I mean, yeah, we as much as we'd love to just stay on one side of the consoles or PCs or what have you, we do try to report on everything retro.
Yeah.
So with the
I'm trying
Xbox
to,
news.
yeah, I am trying. Trying to find the numbers on the Xbox One, but that's not my fault. I mean, that's nobody's fault. That information's just not out there. But did anybody want to go on with the Xbox One news? Because we do have Xbox One news as well.
Yeah, I'll do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Titch, go ahead.
X1 news is Microsoft is planning a phased rollout for its upcoming operating system, Windows 10. The new OS will debut first on PC this summer, followed by versions for the phones, Xbox One, HoloLens, and other devices later in the year. That's according to a new report noted Microsoft blogger Paul Thurrott, that's a name, who attended a special event in Microsoft's Build conference in San Francisco, where the details were divulged. Citing a conversation with Windows exec Joe Belfiore, Thurrott, that Windows 10 will arrive for the non-PC platforms according to their own schedules later in 2015. Microsoft announced back in January that Windows 10 would be integrated into Xbox One by way of future update. Xbox boss Phil Spencer assured fans that by the time Windows 10 Xbox One update arrives, it won't morph the games console into an enterprise-centric device. How it will operate is unclear, and whether it will come with a dashboard rearrangement is not known. We won't see people using Excel on Xbox, but Microsoft is making it easier to port experiences from PC over to Xbox where they make sense, Spencer said at the time. Xbox One preview program members will get to try the new Windows 10 integration first. Spencer said it on Twitter earlier this week that preview program members will be able to test it out at least a month before general availability. Access to the Xbox One preview program is available by invitation only. When the update is applied, Xbox One owners will be able to stream their games to Windows 10 PCs, and the cross-device functionality doesn't stop there. Lionhead's upcoming RPG Fable Legends is coming to both Xbox One and PC, featuring cross-platform play.
Interesting.
Yep.
Still worried about
for them.
I'm still worried. Ever since Pandora, mentioned some of the problems that may occur with Windows 10, I'm kind of skeptical with the whole integration thing of everything being all Windows 10 across the board. So
I have no.
It's an
but
ambitious.
it could be good. It could be bad. I mean,
It's an ambitious undertaking. Yeah,
I think they're doing.
Kudos to them, though. I mean, kudos to them. It's a really ambitious undertaking, and listen. I mean, I'm hard on the Xbox because I expect more out of them. I expect them to do certain things, and when they do it well, they're the best that you can get. But I just, as a consumer, man, I just want Xbox to do what they need to do, and this is really big news. And I'm like Kaz in a lot of ways. I'm pretty excited to kind of see how this is going to integrate. But I know Windows and I know Microsoft, and so I'm hesitant because it's Microsoft. And when it comes to Microsoft, I hate to say this, guys, I'm just not, they're not the most trusting of companies for me. As you know, Kaz is about Activision. He talks about Activision all the time. I'm worse about Microsoft. I think they have big ideas but poor execution, and
they always seem like
I stand by that. Huh?
They always look like they always seem like they're really disorganized.
I thought that way. I thought that before. Recently, my whole opinion changed on Microsoft, on the whole operating system. I'm not talking about Xbox One or anything else, but they have, they're really splitting up the workload instead of just one team tackling all these different devices. They're actually splitting it up where they have the division of Xbox actually working on the Windows 10 integration for that. They have the phone guys working on the next flagship phone with the next, Windows 10 integrated. Same thing with the PC.
Yeah.
They have the PC guys working on, integrating Cortana in Windows 10 with Spotting, Project Spot, which is the new Internet Explorer. I think that it's going to be a smoother launch than everybody thinks it's going to be, because usually when you think of Microsoft and you think of an operating system, well, usually you say, shit, I ain't buying that operating system for another year at least, because I want all the goddamn bugs out of
all
this,
the bugs,
Right.
But you gotta remember now, we're not paying a dime for this, and
That's what worries me.
right. And I understand I understand that, but again, remember what I told you. They're gonna get that money back tenfold, if not 20-fold, with their little store that they're putting in there with all the different
That's
apps.
true.
yeah.
So I know that they really want to throw this out there and roll. Again, it's only, I think, 2 months, not even 2 months. I think it's June 25th. I think the PC version is going to get released. It's something crazy like that. It's pretty soon. You know what? I'm going to upgrade it. The only reason why I didn't yet to test that out on my PC is because I kind of read the warnings and I make sure that I don't screw anything up. Where if I had another PC where I wasn't using every day, I'd throw it on that,
Right.
and I would definitely load it up on that and have no problems. But if I'm using my PC every day, they kind of tell you, when you beta test it, don't throw it on your PC that you use every day, because you might not be able to access certain things that you need.
Right. It's not like a video game beta where
Right.
you can just like, oh, the game
Right.
doesn't work, so I'm not going to play it. No, this is your operating
Yeah.
system.
Well,
this thing
Right.
runs your entire computer. You don't want to.
I actually
if it doesn't work.
Actually did put it on the laptop and used it for a couple weeks. So I gave it.
But nothing really works with
Well,
it because it's not.
And that's what I
ready
was
for
just going to
10.
say. Yeah,
But
is some of my programs that I need daily just would not run even under compatibility mode. So I rolled it back. So you can roll it back. I mean,
Right,
when you install it, it does make a backup, so you can restore your computer. But it is frustrating. One thing I did notice with the operating system is it's very streamlined. So it's very quick. It does not use the application mode that Windows 8.1 uses. And I like that. I like having programs. I don't like having apps on my computer. If I want apps, I'll use them on my phone. That's, you know.
Well, I know, and that's what I said. I know you said that they were faster, which is another reason why I'm, because Windows 9, which is not coming out or releasing, Windows 9 was actually supposed to be just a gaming operating system. Okay, all it was supposed to be a stripped down version of Windows 7 and Windows 8 to make it run games better without any problems, any compatibility issues. Nothing was supposed to be. It was supposed to be the ultimate gaming operating system. Well,
Right.
what happened to it? I mean, Windows 9 is Windows 9 is gone. I mean, it's just they skipped right over 9 and goes right to 10. Now 10 is supposed to
Yeah,
be
they
this
did.
way. So you're supposed to use a lot, and I know we talked about this before, Pandora, about how it's gonna make the Xbox a little bit better. Okay, it's not gonna make 10
Right.
times. It's not gonna make it what all these people are claiming it's gonna do with the
Right.
new DirectX 12.
DirectX 12.
But
Right.
it's I forget the exact number. I think it was Xbox uses or saves 2 gigabytes of their memory for the operating system, where now they don't need to use or save that much. They can use they can save 1 gigabyte. So now the developers are going to have this 1 other gigabyte that they can use part of their CPU, it'll get a little bit more power out of the system. Not much. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to give you, where
Right.
like Windows 7 on the PC uses 2.5 gigabytes. 3 gigabytes is the minimum. And you can only register 6 gigabytes if you have the regular version. If you have the 64-bit version, then you can go and it'll say that you can have up to 32 gigabytes of RAM. I mean, it recognizes that much. So it's the different versions of what's nice, but what I'm liking now is that everything is streamlined. So it's going to use less resources overall between Windows 7 and Windows 8, where Windows 7 was using a lot less resources compared to, and then Windows 8 turned it to a lot of apps. And the apps were using more resources in the background and that whole mess. But I like that they're actually taking this one step further and throwing it out there and I really have a lot of faith that this is gonna be a smooth launch. I'm not saying without a couple of hiccups, because everything. It's a software. Every game needs to be has hiccups and needs to be some type of patch right away. So I'm not saying that it's gonna not have any hiccups. It's gonna have maybe 1 or 2, in the beginning. I think it's gonna be really streamlined to the point where it won't have any problems.
So we'll have to wait and see, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's untested. It's in development, but in the end, it's untested. And what scares me is, like you said, Sid, it's not like it's a beta testing of a video game. This is an operating system. So, an untested, a truly untested, brand new operating system. It's not even similar to any of the Windows before it. This is something completely new They're integrating everything through this, and if it fails, everything's gonna fail. And it's this. I'll give it to them. I mean, this has taken a lot of guts for Microsoft to even attempt to do something like this, because if this doesn't work, oh my goodness, it's going to be bad, because this integration of this Windows 10 is going to affect everything across the board. So, including the Xbox One now. So if things if things do not work the way they want it to work, everything, including a gaming console, it's going to suffer for it. And I think Microsoft, I say Xbox, but I think Microsoft understands that. At least I hope they do. And again, if this thing does not work, and it's because, again, we all know there's a difference in running little small beta tests and patching this and fixing that, and then releasing something for the masses, and everybody logging in and everybody using that service at the same time. That's when all your bugs and all your real problems are going to come out, is when everybody's using it all at one time, and that mass overload. And I'm telling you guys, I'm nervous. It scares me. It really does, because it's Microsoft, and I don't trust them. They've not done anything to really earn my trust in the last few years anyway. Do I hate the Xbox 360? No, I love the Xbox 360, but the Xbox 360 doesn't have Windows on it or anything. But the Xbox One is now going to have Windows on it. So I want it to be successful, because I really want the Xbox One to be a good console. I guess what it boils down to me is the Xbox One needs to give me reasons to buy it, and they ain't done it yet. And so, I mean, I had it, didn't like it, got rid of it. And I want so much for this to be a good console. So if they can pull out another gig of power, if they can pull another this out of it, and pull that out of it, and Phil Spencer can kind of pull it all together and make it a great system, I'm down for that, because I want to play my Halo Guardians. I do. I'm a Halo fan, so I want it to be good. I really, really, really want it to be good. So I'm not wishing them ill will. I guess what it boils down to me is I expect more out of them than what they're giving, and I'm disappointed in the product. And this is coming from a guy that absolutely loves the 360. If I've got 5 Xbox 360s in my house, 3 of which are connected. The other 2 are just spares. I love the 360. I got more 360s than I do PlayStation 3s. I prefer my Xbox 360 over my PlayStation 3 when it comes down to it. So this ain't no fanboyism going on here. The PlayStation 4 earned my respect, because I'm a hard consumer. I'm tough on what I expect. And the PlayStation 4 literally won me over, took me away from Xbox. When I got the Xbox One, I was so disappointed in it. It was so gimmicky, and it had so many little issues with it, and it didn't work half the time. The load times were ridiculous. The Kinect would turn the thing on and off at random times, because the sound coming through my speakers the Kinect thought I was giving it commands, and I just said, screw this. I can't even play a game on here without it going, launching Skype, and it was such a pain in the rear, So I said, screw it, get it out of my house. Went and got the PlayStation 4 and absolutely loved it. I'm saying I transferred over, so it's not, this is why I want this to work well. I want the Xbox One to rebound from this. I want this whole integration thing to actually work. I'm not bashing on it because I'm just bashing on it. I'm bashing on it because I want it to be successful. I want it to do the things that we as gamers have come to love about the Xbox 360 only in the Xbox One version, and they haven't done that yet. And I guess I just expect more from the Xbox One than what they delivered, and I was disappointed in it. And I'm not that forgiving. You know, it's like, okay, you keep burning me time and time and time again with, you know, all your little Microsoft tablets and your Microsoft this and that and so on and so forth. So I have stuck with my 360. I'm still playing my 360, you know, consoles now. I won't mess with the Xbox One until they fix it. So personally, I want it to do very well. And I hope Kaz is right for everything. I want him to be right. For the first time, I want him to actually be right. But it's Microsoft we're talking about, and they are prone to disappoint. So, I mean, you know, they disappoint me often.
But when you're talking about them, you know, the login issues and stuff like that, that's service stuff. I'm not, the PC and stuff like that, we're not worrying about that stuff. We have to worry about the download of this new operating system, which is going to happen overnight because it's going to be one of those Windows updates that we're just going to get, you know. And after everything's installed, it's going to erase everything out, you know, all of old operating system, and go to the new one. So it's not. I have no problem with the server issues because that's not going to be what affects it. My only issue is if they can't. And one of the biggest things I'm looking forward to is be able to talk to Katana. I mean, you're a Halo fan, and I'll be able to actually talk to Katana on the PC. She'll be my personal assistant. You know, it's cool. But my biggest fear is that they're gonna screw her integration up with the PC, where every time you say a word, where you can't shut her off. And they already said that you can shut her off, but there's just that one little piece of me that says, you know, you never know if that's really true, because they
original Furby.
But like, like Titch, when she's doing her Titch's, you know, her Titch's tips with
What?
I didn't say that.
That's nice.
But when she's talking about The Sims 4, you know, and she says Sims 4, and then all of a sudden on her screen The Sims 4 opens, and it'd be like, hello? That's not what she wants, you know?
It's funny you mentioned that because I was actually, you know, going back when we were talking about trolls and stuff. I was watching a YouTube video where this guy was playing Call of Duty Advanced Warfare on the Xbox One, and he changed his gamer tag to Xbox Sign Out, and then he would go up to people and block them. They would get so mad with rage, they would say his name. They would say, Xbox, sign out! Oh my god, get out of my way! And their screen would go blank.
That's as when PCs, when we used to do MMOs, and you'd say, somebody would say, well, I'm stuck here. Oh, we'll hit Control-Alt-Delete at the same time. It would take you, restart your PC. That is an amazing troll.
Or Shift F4 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alt F4 is what it is, I think it is.
Yeah.
Well, it is come to that time again. It is 10 o'clock, and that's our show, man. We covered a lot of stuff today. It was pretty good, man. A lot of deep discussions, and I'm glad you guys were back. Again, I miss both of you, Kaz and Pandora. I see Titch every day, but I always miss her. But you know, but you know, I had both of us, Titch and I, hadn't seen either one of you. I know, Kaz, you've been really busy with baseball stuff, man. But I hope that's going well with you.
Yeah,
or for you.
It's going.
It's what it is.
It's going.
We spent at least 8-10 hours yesterday getting jerseys. Where we start next week. We start next week. We don't even have jerseys to put on these kids to put on the field. And then we have to rush around ordering these things, and then we gotta talk to the embroidery lady to make sure she can get it done by, you know, when it comes in. I have to rush it to her. Oh my God, it's ongoing fiasco, but at least we know it's solved. Right now. Now, if the plane decides it wants to blow up in the middle of the air and has our stuff on it, ooh, I can't control that.
All right, guys. Kaz, do you have anything coming up for this coming week?
No, I just have more baseball stuff.
More baseball stuff. All right. Pandora, you?
Yeah, I'll be streaming the more of the artwork, the working on the graphic novel. Katie and Hannah hung out with me the other day when we were working on some designs, so that was cool. BCK was there, you guys were there. So I'll be probably doing a couple more character designs as well as working on some of the pages. And who knows what else. I think I'm going to have a friend of mine, I think BCK was pretty excited about it. He's a professional inker, worked at DC Comics, Marvel Comics, and I'm probably going to have him in a Skype call with me,
Nice.
maybe one day this week if we can get the schedule worked out. So,
And Pandora, I'm still holding you to the challenge of. I mean, I know you probably don't have time to do it right now, but I definitely keep it in the back of your head. I'd like to see your rendition, your interpretation of Sayoko.
that might be something we'll do for a big live stream too.
That would be kind of cool. I think
stream.
it'd be an awesome stream.
And have you guys
Titch,
in a Skype call.
That'd be awesome. Titch, what's coming up with you?
I actually have my new followers neighborhood that I'm doing, and Slickerdoodle, who's in the chat, actually was the follower who won the raffle the other day to become Titchery Sim's roommate in her house, because everybody said, oh, Titchery looks so sad and lonely in her house. So we made Slickerdoodle the other day, and while making Slickerdoodle, as I said, I saw some leggings that my Sims have, and I immediately went, oh my god, those look like they should be on Harley Quinn. So I made Harley Quinn and I made the Joker, but I've also been toying with the idea of making a neighborhood of DC heroes and a neighborhood of Marvel heroes and maybe a house of Avengers and Justice League. So I'm gonna try to kind of incorporate that with my streams.
Cool. All right, let's see. I'm still working on trying to get to 500 viewers. Once I get to 500, I'm sorry, not 500 viewers, 500 followers. And once I do get to 500 followers, I do want to give away those Troy Baker albums. So I will be giving those away once I do hit my 500.
Good luck.
I'm going to be doing. Well, thank you, man. I'm going to be streaming anything that I can think of. Right now, maybe some Hardline. I definitely want to play some Hardline with Pandora. I was playing some Injustice earlier with Sandbird last night, and some Mortal Kombat 10 as well. So I'll just be streaming. Trying to get stream a lot more than I have. I know I've been a little absent lately, but I need to get back on the bandwagon on that. So that concludes the Save Point Show tonight. Thank you guys for joining us so much. We appreciate each and every one of you. A big shout out to all of you. Thank you guys. Big shout out to all of our stream team there. BCK is our mod leader there, and big shout out to Brunhofer, Slimin, Kim ST, Kiex, Sandbird, the Waffling Brit, and the Real MRV Gaming HD, and as well as I'm always rooting for you guys, and hope to see you guys soon. Oh, thank you very much, Tidgery. Again, we are Styx Broadcasting, and I am always Sidious67.
I'm Titchery.
Your Pandora.
Kaz143.
And this is the Save Point Show, reminding you to save early, save often. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.